pull up a chair. This is Off the Back Porch. Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer is brought to you in part by Country Village Sporting Goods. Everything you need to get in the woods, the water, or to the camp is at Country Village Sporting Goods. Jason Hardy State Farm. Like a good neighbor, Jason Hardy at State Farm is there. And Larry's Pizza in El Dorado, home of the Double Pizza Parade.
20 plus years of bringing you the most important and latest information with local happenings, news, sports, opinions, and probably an attempt at humor. Also brought to you in part by Davis Farms Country Market. For farm to table fresh, it's Davis Farms Country Market. Cook's Body Shop. Chances are it will happen. And when it does, look to Cook's. Murphy Arts District. For the latest information on concerts and events, go to eldomad.com.
Recorded live from Main Street Pizza in historic, beautiful downtown El Dorado, Arkansas. With a history of being the voices you trust. This is Off the Back Porch with Boomer and Sandy. Or Sandy and Boomer. Or two old guys you've known for a long time, whatever. And now your hosts, Troy, Boomer, Barrios, and B.A. Sandy Sanford.
Hey, thank you, Johnny Dean, and welcome to another edition of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer, and sometimes Jax.
Sometimes?
That's what he wants us to change the name to.
Are you going to go with that?
No.
Just today?
But I figured I'd just do it today and, make him think I'm going to.
Okay.
And then yank it all away from him.
Pull it all away from him. That's how we treat our kids.
That's how I positively reinforce my children.
Yeah.
And I tell them I don't like kids.
Yeah.
I did. So I was going back through some videos. We were looking for one in particular, and I was going back through some videos on my phone yesterday, and we came across one when the princess was 4, and His Royal Highness was brand new in the box, right? And I got him laid there on the changing table, and I put my phone up, and I said, "Hey, y'all, I got to be careful about what I say in front of this 4-year-old." I said, because a while ago, I said, little boy here was getting on my nerves, and I was like, "What's wrong with you? I don't even like kids." And then as I picked him up to take him and come change him, I hear her say, "Daddy doesn't like kids?"
Yeah, she took you literally.
And I said, "So I did what any loving father would do." I turned around and looked at her and said, "That's right, I don't like kids."
Don't like you either.
Because that's how you positively reinforce.
You get on my nerves, I don't like you either.
So,
Well, the problem with children is they're always there.
that's the whole thing.
They don't ever leave.
My wife is trying to convince the Munchkin she's got to move out. She's telling
When she graduated high school.
because she graduated high school the other night.
Yeah, that's it.
She's like, "You got to go.
We fulfilled our obligation.
They'll move back.
Yeah.
That's
She's like,
it, and bring
she
more.
said, you got to move into the dorms.
Yeah. She
Over
going to here?
South Ark, yeah.
Yeah.
And she said, "You got to move in the dorms." And Munchkin's like, I like my bed too much. And I looked at her, I said, "Baby, as long as Daddy has a house, you have a house."
But
okay?
I still don't like you.
Yeah, but I still don't like
to
kids.
a certain age, you kind of admit.
You know what? Here's the honest to goodness truth. When Micah, my oldest, was getting ready to graduate high school, I was like, "Man, what am I going to do?" I mean, that's my little buddy. She's been my little road warrior for years. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And God has this amazing thing where he turned my child into an asshole.
A liberal.
And I didn't, she wasn't liberal then. That wasn't until she got off to school. But she turned her into a raving asshole. And I couldn't wait for her to leave. Now, I still squalled when I left her in Fayetteville. Don't get me wrong.
Well, but like when Amy went down to Tech, and she'd come home on the weekends, eventually you get used to them not being there.
That's right.
And you think,
and God, you get used to being able to put something in your washing machine whenever you want, Used to, I don't know, I left that food in the refrigerator for a reason.
Or when you lived here, you had some certain times that you had to be here.
Oh yeah,
but once they get to college, they can come in whenever they want.
That don't apply anymore. That's right. That's right. Hey, welcome to our special guest this week, Michael Fife. Mike, thanks for coming and joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now do me a favor,
get up on that mic.
Sure you talk in that mic.
Yeah, I got you.
And,
hold up here like that.
No, you don't have to do that part. But thank you for coming. I know we've been talking about having you on the podcast for dang near a year now.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it has been.
It hadn't been that long, but we have been talking about having you on the podcast, and of course, y'all probably all know this, but Michael Fife's running for sheriff of Union County, and you've seen his ads all over SouthArkansasNow.com, and so one of the things we told him was we'd like to have him on the podcast, and we'll talk about the campaign and kind of your experience and what made you decide to run.
But not now.
But not right this minute. Not right this minute.
You got to suffer through some other stuff first.
I got you.
Hey, Boomer, you know what else I want to talk about today? And that is Fat Works Pure Tallow.
That's tallow.
Yeah. Now, if you take cooking as seriously as Boomer and I do,
You need that.
you need tallow.
Yeah.
Okay. And this
Especially
is,
Cajun cooking. 'cause
it's,
that's-
yes.
They all use that. Yeah.
This is 100% grass fed, no hormones, no additives, no antibiotics.
Who's got that?
Yeah. Give me a minute and I'll get to it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm impatient.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
You tried to die before we was ready for you to go. Anyway, pure tallow from Fat Works. You can get that exclusively here locally at Timberlane Meat Market.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was in there this morning and looking around. They also have some raw honeycomb in there as well. And I was like, ooh, I may have to try some of that.
Yeah.
may,
Well,
have to get it into a little bit of that.
You can chew that and then spit it out,
Yeah.
did you? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So,
Do you remember the little Cokes, the little wax Cokes that you can't, you chew them and
I
then
do.
drink it and then chew the whole thing up?
Yeah.
Is that still around? That's kind
I
of
don't know if they're still around or not, but
was that still around?
Yeah, when I was a kid.
So that's kind of what honeycomb is. Kind of you just
Yeah.
get all the juice out of it and then spit her out.
Yeah, spit her out. Yeah. Someone asked me, said, you Gen X people, y'all talk about how y'all were feral and outside all the time. I was like, we were. And they said,
Yeah.
well, what did you eat? I said, whatever we found. Blackberries,
Yeah.
honeysuckle, old
just
possum.
Roadkill. Yeah.
No, I mean,
Raccoon on the
seriously,
half shell?
seriously, we did fish and,
Yeah.
little creeks and bayous and stuff. We'd fish and
Mm-hmm.
cook them up. Wasn't anything to us, so. But anyway,
Did you really?
we did.
I was a city boy. We didn't. If you left the city in Morgan City, you was in the water.
Yeah, that's right. You were
So there was no Cub Scout, Boy Scout camping out because everything it was town or water.
Speaking of, I had never been until yesterday. I went to the DeSoto
Yeah.
the camp out here,
nice down
Scouting
there.
America.
Yeah.
Man, I was blown away. And I'm thinking, well, this is really nice. It's a shame they only use it for scouting. I was wrong. They rent that stuff out.
Got a nice pool too.
They got pools. They have 3 different ponds.
Did you go to look at them?
Yeah.
There's one. You say pond is a lake.
Yeah. And
Now, I don't think you can go in there and just start fishing.
oh no, you can, but you can go to jail.
Yeah. I mean, you got to
Yeah, but
be invited.
they have a archery range. They have a gun range you can rent out.
Yeah.
Huge kitchen with a brand new Vinahood over it.
Okay.
So, man, really, really
so we're gonna
nice.
rent that out and do something.
We need to
have a cookout.
We
or
need
something?
to have a cookout for all of our fans, all 4 of them.
Well, I mean, we could do that in the backseat of a truck or something.
Yeah, we do that from a bit of a pickup, couldn't we? Hey, we really do have friends. People really do like us. You remember when we went over there and introduced those country acts in Magnolia that time?
Yeah.
And I stood up there on that stage and I said, if y'all are here because you like Boomer and me, I want y'all to get in this picture. And I turned around and take a selfie. And man, there were people leaned in from every direction.
Everybody leaned in.
See there? I told y'all we had friends.
That was 10 years ago.
Shoot, it was longer than that.
Was it more than that?
It was way longer than that.
So you sent me something that said this is 17 years ago. What was that you sent me so you wouldn't forget? But it wouldn't open.
Oh, man, now I don't remember. Did I send it to you via text or?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
It may have been Facebook, maybe been Messenger.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Because but now here it came up on my memories that there was 17 years ago at a fishing tournament. There was pictures of it. Was it
It
that?
may have been, yeah. It may have been that.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
golly.
I forgot to ask you before we started recording.
Yeah. And 17 years, it just doesn't seem right. I mean, that just, those bass tournaments we used to put on, first class events, man.
Yep.
First class events.
Yep.
And of course, everything we did. I mean,
We had one year that it's spring tournament.
yeah, April.
Snowed.
And not just a little.
Snowed Friday night. And we just can't, I mean, the roads were not passable hardly.
I mean, it's 18. We got like 18 inches of snow in 24 hours.
Yeah. And so we had a big crawfish boil, but we didn't have a bass tournament.
Yeah, we ended up having it later that year.
Yeah.
And freaking Mike, what's his name, always wins it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his name?
I'll say it in a minute.
Yeah. Anyway, I told him the other day, I ran into him. I said, man, we need to get you onto our podcast. He said, man, I've been waiting for you to ask. And he said, come on here and tell about all them thousands of dollars you gave me when I win them bass tournaments.
Yeah. Make you take him lie detector test.
Yeah, he definitely had to take them. But but that guy, he's one of those guys that makes me sick. He could have never done anything in his life and pick it up the first time and just master it. So like,
Oh my gosh.
so
I'm gonna say his name.
what you don't want to do is you don't want to play him in checkers. You don't want to play him in that where you drop the ball and pick them little metal spikes up. Jacks. You don't want to play him at that either. And you don't want to be at the plate in a co-ed softball tournament and have him pitching. He throws a knuckleball underhand. That thing doesn't move. It moves, but it's no spin on it. You watch it come out of his hand, it's like it looks like a game of Plunko off of Price is Right. Just bing, 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 bing. And you're thinking, man, if I could ever even put the bat on it, I can't hit it hard.
So we were in Martha and I were fishing in Wildcat. Gosh, I can't believe I can't remember his last name.
I'm gonna tell you in a second.
He pulls up and he says, "Listen, I've just been there for a little bit and I need to go." He said, "Do y'all want some of these fish that I caught?"
Meadows.
Meadows.
Mike Meadows.
So he opens up his live well and starts pulling out 2 and 3 pound bass, 4 pound bass, and he had like 7 or 8 of them. And I'm over there with dinks and I can't keep this ones I'm catching. I said, "I'm gonna take a picture of these."
I'm fishing with Troy one time, and he's bass fishing. We're just kind of tootling through this one little area, and he said, "I'm gonna bass fish while we troll through here." And he's fishing, and boy, he goes set the hook one time, boom, and I see a bass come out of the water,
Airmail
slung past us.
I said, "I think he's too small, and I may have set the hook a little too hard."
Yeah. Hey, I was part of a survey where they asked me some questions, and I thought, well, I'm going to write these down. This would be good for the podcast. And the first one was, who was your first celebrity crush? Do you remember who your first celebrity crush was?
Good Lord, no.
You don't?
I do not.
Mine was Christy McNichol.
Oh yeah, she was on a little
Family
show.
or
Yeah,
something. But
yeah.
man, I mean, I was little, but I thought she was
She was the bad one.
Was she? I don't remember. I thought she was the most beautiful thing that ever existed at that time in life.
Who was the girl that long blonde hair that everybody had a poster of?
Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett. Yeah, that may have been.
That was Daddy's crush
I was
too.
in high school or junior
so
high.
I think back on it now. I remember one year for my dad's birthday, my mom got him a Farrah Fawcett poster.
Yeah,
and I don't
there
think
were only 10 million of those.
I don't think. But here's the thing. I don't think it was meant to be a gift he should have been thankful for.
Oh, I got you.
I think it was meant to. No, you're gonna hang that poster up.
Yeah, let's hang it up.
Let's hang it up. Let's put it right here in front of where everybody can see it. Preacher comes over, he needs to see it. You know. So, yeah.
Preacher came over to our house. And you may have heard this, but Michael probably have. It's dark 30, summertime. It's in South Louisiana, hot and sweaty, and mosquitoes. And so Daddy and the preacher standing right in front of the sidewalk going up to the house. Mama opens the screen door on the front porch and says, "Troy Michael, it's time to come inside, take your bath." I'm like 6, maybe. I look up at Daddy. I said, "Daddy, tell that stupid woman I ain't coming in right now."
Uh-oh.
In front of the preacher. So where does a 6-year-old hear stupid woman from, if not from at home? So I was met halfway, Daddy jerking me up the sidewalk and Mama pulling me back the sidewalk. Ooh, I didn't realize the seriousness of the matter.
Well, evidently, the first time our pastor came to my house when I was a little boy, I begged and begged to be able to say the prayer. And so Daddy said, "Okay, go ahead." "Yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you, please. Open that turkey's butt and pass me them peas."
Pass the teeth over the gums. Look out, stomach. Here it comes.
Yeah, and Daddy said, he just looked at the pastor and he said, "It's all right, buddy." He said, "They only repeat what they hear."
The preacher said that. Yeah.
And see, I asked Daddy, our pastor was A.L. Gatlin, and I asked him something way later in life. He said, "Sandy," he said, "Brother Gatlin was an old man when I was a kid." So he only lived, I mean, I was probably about 3 or 4 when he passed away.
Yeah.
And
But you remembered him.
I do remember him, yeah. He was very memorable. But
So the survey was online, or was it a call in?
No, this was one that I'm involved in a couple of professional organizations, and so this was one that we were all doing. Well, that doesn't matter.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there.
So you got more questions?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
So
This is scary.
They asked, who were your top 3 crushes when you were growing up? And mine were, I knew mine like that. Elisa Milano off of Who's the Boss. She was one.
That was creepy for me because I was a little older.
Yeah. Susanna Hoffs.
Don't remember her.
She sang with the Bangles. Walk like an Egyptian.
Oh, yeah,
Blonde
yeah.
eyes.
Dark skin. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that was her.
Yeah, she's hot.
Danica McKellar.
Oh,
Otherwise known as
Winnie Cooper.
Winnie Cooper off of the Wonder Years. And then I told him I had a fourth one. And it was Daniela Fischel. She played Topanga on Boy Meets World.
Yeah, Topanga was hot.
Yeah, she's a good looking girl.
And she looked older than her age.
Always did, yeah.
Yeah.
And normally when they look older than their age and they're 17, 18.
Yeah.
By the time they're 30, they
doesn't
just
work out.
But it hadn't hurt hers at all.
Yeah,
at all.
she's
She's still a pretty girl. Y'all have any of your crushes from when you were a kid?
If I do, I don't remember them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Smart thing to say.
Yeah.
5 crushes you have today, but they have to be within your age range. Well, I'm 54, so they put my age range at 40 to 55.
Okay.
So I was like, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. I got some. You want to do yours?
Go ahead, tell me.
Do y'all remember Maria Conchita Alonso, the Mexican actress?
Yes.
No.
Oh heavens, the Mexican singer, her family. Anyway,
Charo?
no, not Charo. That's a little too far.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh heavens, go ahead, do yours.
Number 5 for me was Jennifer Garner.
Oh yeah,
Number 4, Julia Roberts.
yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3, Tina Fey.
Tina Fey.
Oh yes, I think Tina Fey's hot.
I think she's funny.
She's smart girl. She's smart girl hot.
Yeah,
She's kind of like nerd hot.
Yeah.
Number 2, Whitney Cummings,
Don't know her.
the comedian.
Just still don't know her.
Dark haired, dark eyes.
Don't know.
Still don't know.
Voluptuous. I mean, anyway.
Pretty.
Yeah, very pretty. And number 1, because of the age range they gave me, Jamie Lynn Sigler, Meadow Soprano from The Sopranos.
Yeah.
She's 44. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah, she's still young.
Someone who was too young to make your list, that was easy. Sophie Cunningham from the Indiana Fever.
Oh man, but Sophie likes girls.
Does she?
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Doesn't matter. She's
Doesn't
still
matter.
pretty.
She's still pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone who would never be on your list. And I told them, I said, well, they said, even if the procreation of the human race depended on it. I said, well, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But let's start with any man.
Okay. Yeah.
Most liberal women. I said, I would make an
A lot
exception.
of them have pink or purple hair.
I would make an exception for Eva Longoria.
Is she liberal?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Kerry Washington.
Kerry Washington. Oh yeah.
Played Olivia Pope on Scandal.
Yeah.
Definitely would never allow Kathy Griffin, the comedian.
Kathy's scary looking.
Man, listen, she could die and I'd be fine. I
She
wouldn't.
needs to move. All of them that said they're going to go if Trump's elected.
Right, yeah. Rachel Maddow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have anything
Rachel
for her.
likes girls too.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That's the only one she can get
Well, I'm not
because
saying
she's ugly
that.
as homemade sin.
Well, I'm not saying that.
I am.
You know. Okay. I mean,
Yeah. And then I said, are any of the Jenners / Kardashians? They could never be on my list.
Mine,
They're
you're
just
right.
gross.
Not mine.
they're all just gross. And then they'll go have a in-house Bible study. I've seen them do it.
I know.
I think you
know.
have to believe that Bible first.
Well,
So when they first started doing Duck Dynasty, these you can't even find these episodes anymore, but they were out there for a while. They had episodes where Willie and Cy and they were bleeping them out like they were cussing. And then at the end, they all sit down at the table and they pray. And all that. And Willie and his wife didn't know they were doing that. And so when it came on TV, he had a fit. And I mean, he threatened lawsuits and all kinds of stuff. He was like, you were bleeping out us saying if, and but. There's no sense in that. And
they weren't bleeping out curse
No,
words. They were just bleeping for.
they were bleeping it out, trying to make it look like they were saying curse words. And boy,
Well, Phil believed that if he didn't save you, you probably wasn't saved.
well, I don't know about that.
Well, I do because I talked to a guy that's from here.
Yeah.
And he says, I went down there and Phil wanted me to baptize me in the Washita again. And he said, I told Phil I was already saved. And I said, well, son, we just need to get this right.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go there.
No.
But yeah, I mean,
that's just a
that
belief.
doesn't surprise me. Hey, Boomer, I thought I would start off with our Cajun word of the week. And let's see if you can tell me what it means.
I'll try.
Chaudette.
I don't know what that means.
Someone who is fiery and bullheaded.
A Chaudette.
Chaudette.
Never heard that.
Really? Wow.
I have to remember that and tell my wife that.
Yeah, maybe not.
Hey,
Don't
listen,
tell her what it
we can
means.
edit that out. Yep.
Don't tell her what it means.
It means beautiful, baby.
It means beautiful, baby.
beautiful.
You're the
That's-
love of my life.
The problem is my wife knows too much Cajun.
Well, yeah.
You know, I mean,
she's got some.
She got them black eyes and that
Yeah.
olive skin. She from down there. You know? So, yeah. One of my favorites was I was, and the thing is when my Cajun hits, it's like out of the blue. It's like you learned something years ago and you forgot that you knew how. I'm looking over some paperwork one day and I'm having to make these numbers match what's on this paper with what I have on the screen, and I can't get it, man. I've been going at it for like a couple hours. I just get up and walk off, and I walk around for a little bit, and I come back down, sit at my desk, and boom, it jumps out at me. And I said, "God day on." And a lady sitting next to me looked over and said, "Wow, you really are Cajun." I said, I'm not Cajun.
It just happens.
I said, but I do have a whole bunch of Cajun family, and God day dong. And so,
It means all shucks. Or
yeah, it
darn.
means looky here, you know,
Or darn,
yeah,
yeah.
whatever. So, yeah, Chaudette, someone who is fiery and bullheaded. You know, thinking about that reminded me of the time John Breaux, when he was in the House of Representatives for Louisiana, 1981, he voted with the Republicans for the Reagan tax cut, and the media thought, well, you know, he's reaching across the aisle, conservative Southern Democrat. And then they found out that in that tax cut bill, there was a huge subsidy for sugarcane farmers. And they were like, well, you sold your vote. And you remember John Breaux's answer?
Yeah. No, I don't remember his answer, but
He said, no, my vote is never for sale. You can't buy my vote, but it can be rented. But it can be rented.
yeah, they raise more sugar cane in South Louisiana than anything else.
Yeah. Sugarcane and crawfish. Rice.
And
You know,
rice, yeah.
That's what I always say. Cajun can't tell you how many acres it is. He can just tell you how much gravy it'd take to cover it. How big a roux you got to start with. So, you know, anyone that knows me knows that besides being one of my 2 or 3 best friends in the world, Boomer's one of those guys that I depend on for advice and wisdom.
If he can remember it.
Yeah, if he can remember it, yeah. So it'll come as no surprise to y'all that I keenly remember the day that Boomer looked at me and he said, you know, every once in a while, someone comes along in your life that changes it forever. I am that someone. You're welcome. That's what he said to me.
I did say that. And I taught you a very dear lesson about the certainty of salvation.
You did. You
Yeah.
sure did. With
And
a
I
stick of
used-
gum.
with a stick of gum.
With a stick of gum. That's right.
So, in the Miami Sound Machine, her name was
Gloria Estefan.
Gloria Esteban. Yes.
Yeah.
Now she's not as pretty as she, of course, you know, Gloria's probably my age or close.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah,
a
you're not
beautiful-
as pretty as you used to be.
No. I never was really pretty, but I'm definitely not pretty anymore. But yeah, Gloria Esteban.
Gloria Estefan and the
Yeah.
Miami Sound
The
Machine.
Miami Sound Machine.
Look at you pulling that out of your memory.
And the girl from Colombia that's in the family show.
oh gosh,
Glo-
yes, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember her name.
She's Betty Purdy.
Yeah.
She's from Colombia.
but she plays in that sitcom.
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
With the gay brother.
With the gay brother. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What is something you love that no one else seems to? So for me, it's a Reuben sandwich. I love a Reuben. I don't know anyone who's just like, I love a Reuben sandwich.
Me, for my family, be spaghetti.
Really, you like spaghetti and no one else does?
My wife, she'll cook it every now and then. Most time when she goes off traveling to work, I cook it then.
Yeah.
She just the whole family.
Spaghetti's
like that.
easy to cook too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Fun.
it doesn't have to be
Tastes
hard.
Tastes good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking of spaghetti, I got to tell y'all this story.
Okay.
I shouldn't, but I am. La Piazza down here.
Yeah.
When it was open, it was me and my wife and a couple more couples in there eating one night, and this young lady was waiting on us, talking with that French accent. And me, I go to dying out laughing. They said, "Why are you laughing at her?" I said, "She's from Union County. She's never left this town. I put her in jail a couple of times. She don't talk like that." And they told me I had to leave because I couldn't stop laughing at the point.
She was faking that accent.
Faking the accent.
Are they done?
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
they're
gone.
done.
They
Yeah.
left.
I hate that too because I love that little restaurant.
I did too, you know. Now, they were Albanian,
Yeah.
and so they were Muslim, so there was no pork. And I'm sorry, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to eat a meatball that doesn't have any pork in it. You know, that's just one of those things, I guess. Or a stuffed ziti that doesn't have pork. So,
Well, you know, several times we went there, ate with other couples, and Martha and I are not much on that kind of cuisine.
On Italian food?
Italian food.
yeah,
You know, but
I always liked it. I mean, man, I love their lasagna. It was good.
Yes.
It was
I've had
very
their
good.
lasagna. I mean, if you like lasagna, it was good
yeah,
lasagna.
and they made a fabulous pizza.
And their bread was good.
Yeah, the bread was good. And that tomato soup. That's what I always dipped it in. I always took that bread and dipped it in that tomato soup.
So, what's going in there? Is something else going in?
Mr. Williams, who's bought
Yeah.
the building,
Yeah.
and which that's a whole nother subject, but he's bought the building, and of course he has Icon Lounge upstairs.
Upstairs, yeah, I knew
so I
that.
don't know what he's going to put in down there, but I hear rumors, but I'm not going to repeat them because they're just rumors.
A restaurant type?
That's
place?
my understanding. Yes,
Okay.
and that's what I understand. But it's a great location. It's a fabulous location.
So, House of Wiley, they've been working on it, but I haven't. They're not open yet, though.
Not yet,
Yeah.
but I think they're getting a lot closer.
Yeah.
And
It's gonna be good.
Man, I think so. I'm excited for them.
The refinery.
The refinery, yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Lance and his wife. I think that's going to be pretty cool. So, hey, what's something that you were good at, but you hated being good at it, or hated it, period? So for me, when I graduated high school, I graduated June 1st, 1990. I got in my 1978 Chevy Silverado pickup, and I drove to Houston, Texas. And that was a Friday, and by that Monday, I think it was June 3rd or 4th, I had a job at an oil change place. Now, this was one of them fancy schmancy oil change places. It wasn't like, just a 1 or 2 bay garage with a dirt floor that they pour oil on to make it pack down. No, this was one of those. It was like brick, and, marble, and that kind of stuff. And it was in a high rent part of Houston. And one of the things that they wanted me to do is to take the transmission oil and put it on this white piece of paper and carry it in there and tell them, do you want to get a transmission service done? Notice you have X amount of miles, your manufacturer recommends. Oh, yeah, do it. I definitely want to have that done. And I was good at that, but I hated it.
You didn't want to change transmission?
Well, I didn't have to change the transmission.
You didn't want to
fluids.
go in there and tell them to do that?
Well, I just felt like we were being less than honest. I just felt like we were being less than genuine with some people.
I got you.
And,
they do that at oil change. They want to put a cabin filter in behind your glove box, or a new air filter and stuff like that. But
Yeah, so I didn't like it, and but I was evidently pretty good at it because they started paying me commission.
Oh,
And so then I didn't mind it quite so much.
yeah. Money
When I was
talks.
doing it for $3.35 an hour, it didn't mean that much to me. But when we got to start getting commission, that was a little bit better. Back then, I mean, even then, as long as it wasn't a Mercedes or a BMW or something, a transmission change, fluid change was like $59.
Yeah?
And that was 1990. That's like $7,000.
Something big. Mine was I worked for an oil field service company through high school and through college, and we had specialty tools that had to be dressed. I mean, it's different parts and had ball valves in them and O-rings and all kind of stuff that had to fit correctly. Well, the guy that was the shop manager taught me how to do that. There was nobody else there that, I don't know, had the aptitude or whatever.
The dexterity.
So I learned how to do that. And my dad was proud of it because he's an oil field guy. And so he said, man, you know how to work on those Kelly valves and this and that and the other. And I said, yeah. Until I started getting called out at night to go dress one. Someone called an order in at night. I mean, oil field, you're always on, so I'm 16, 17 at home, ready to go to bed. And now I'm going out to the shop to dress a valve or something. So no, I didn't like knowing that.
That's right. You ever have one of them?
Not really.
Not really.
When I got out of high school, I went straight to working at a logging company to learn how to fix flats.
Oh.
And skidder flats. Then I said, I don't want to do this.
Be sure you talk to that
Oh,
microphone.
sorry. Didn't want to do that, so I went to work for the highway department for a couple of years, and I realized that ain't my job.
Didn't want to do that either.
No. Then the sheriff here in Union County said, do you want to go to work for me? I said, sure. I took less pay, but I loved it ever since.
Yeah.
So that's what I love it. And
Well, you're good at it and you like it.
I guess so, but the highway departments, I would never go
Not
back.
so
I
much.
did that one summer between my 9th grade and 10th grade year. I worked for a contractor, worked for the highway department. And here's how we got paid. If you just flagged, because what his job was is they were cutting down timber and then putting up a 5-strand barbed wire fence along that right of way. And if you just flagged while they fell trees, you got paid $25 a day.
A day?
A day.
Can to can.
130 degrees on that pavement.
Yeah.
You know. Now, if you got over there and you built that fence, you made 10 cents a foot for that fence. I figured out pretty quick I could build a fence a whole lot better than standing on that highway and just baking. And only thing about that fence is those are all fences that had to be built by state of Texas regulations, which meant every corner post had to be a creosote 4x4 creosote or 6x6 creosote post.
When you hug those,
yeah, you know,
because you got to hug them to put them in the hole.
No doubt.
I was in my late 30s, early 40s before the scars on my neck went away from the creosote burns that I got when I was 15 years old.
Putting them on your shoulder.
Putting them on my shoulders and carrying them, yeah. But I'll tell you this, there wasn't anything I couldn't move or pick up back then.
Gosh, yeah.
You know, I was a baseball player too, so my coach.
Did y'all use the driver to put the T-post in?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have the tractor?
No. Didn't have one of those. And then, again, corner posts had to be creosote, but you know, every so often you'd have to put an H brace in the middle. And that was just regular.
Down or up, or?
That was just regular, you know, regular like landscape timbers.
4-inch tops or something.
And, you know, of course, you dig that out with a post hole digger. And I got tired of that thing quick, too. But I made a lot of money that summer.
I'm going to tell you, building fence will build arms and shoulders and back on a young man. Yep.
It will.
Because everything you do is hard.
Yes, there's no easy job
you
out
got
there.
that big tamping pole.
Yeah.
You know, that thing will weigh 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, it won't do
It's not doing any good. Well, you know, I've seen people just use the back end of a shovel, the shovel handle. And I'm like, that's fine, but you're going to stand there for 3 hours doing that. With that tamping pole, you can be done in about 10 minutes, but it's 10 of the hardest minutes of your day.
Yeah,
I promise you.
You got to tamp that first few inches down real good.
Really tight, yeah.
Yep. Anyway, now we've got tutorials on fence making.
I also wish I'd never been good at baseball.
Because you didn't like it?
No, I loved it, but I grew up to be 5'6".
Oh, I got you.
You know, I'd rather just sucked. I'd rather just be terrible than to think, you know.
Well, it'd be like a 7-foot guy that has no basketball skills.
Yeah, be like Shaq, can't make a free throw. You know, I say that jokingly.
Shaq was the speaker at LSU graduation.
Well, he got another master's degree. It's like his second master's degree.
Yeah, and he's said go to 7-Eleven and get Shaqalicious gummies.
He was telling him to go buy
a commercial for his CBD gummies.
Shaqalicious.
You know, Shaq not a smart man, but he's smarter than Charles Barkley.
Yeah, they introduced him as Shaquille, I hate Charles Barkley.
Yeah, that was his name. He wanted that on his diploma. Hey, speaking of NBA players, you know, JW and Jackson, I had the awesome opportunity to sit down with Daniel Gafford a couple weeks ago. And man, just what a genuinely
what a
great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, just what a fabulous guy he is. And we were talking and you know, just I told him, I said, you know, I love the fact that you hadn't forgot where you're from.
Yeah.
And I said, by that, I mean, you know, when I said, you were sitting up on that podium with Barkley and Shaquille, and I said, you told him, you know, you were from El Dorado, Arkansas, from the Hey Good Neil. And he kind of smiled, and I said, I loved Barkley's response. And he kind of looked at me and said, he wanted to know if that was anywhere close to Magnolia. He said, I got friends in Magnolia. They got chickens in their yard.
I remember that. Well, I have some friends that live next door to Gafford's mom and them.
Oh, is that right?
And mom got a nice house.
Well, she deserves
Mom's
it.
got a very nice house.
She deserved it, you know. And that's the whole thing. Is I think most people, if they ran into money at one point in life, they would buy mama a house.
Yeah,
you know, and that's just what you feel like you owe them to do.
Sure, to raise them your parents,
especially if you know. I mean, think about the house I grew up in there on that red dirt road in East Texas. You know, that poor thing. The house I grew up in, that land has belonged to my family since Texas was part of Mexico, and the first part of the cabin that was built there was prior to the Civil War, and so then we just built onto it and made it our homestead. And the thing is it had actually been built onto previously when my grandfather was a little boy, because he told me, he said, right here where this hallway is, he said it was open. He said it was open all the way through, but it was walls on both sides.
Yeah,
breezeway through there. And he said, because that, which was my room, he said, that was the kitchen. He said, that's where Mama did all the cooking.
They called it a dog trot back then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said, but we didn't want her cooking in the house because it'd heat the whole house up. And he said, we didn't have electricity, much less air conditioning, which we didn't have air conditioning then either.
Well, just like the Newton home, it's got a breezeway and the kitchen's detached back there.
Which, man, I don't know how I did it back then. Because let me tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to sweat at night.
Yeah.
When I go to bed, listen, I tell people I got a job. Okay. And we may go hungry, but I'm not going to be hot when I go to bed.
That was at my grandma's house, man. She lived on the Texas coast.
Yeah, and it's humid.
It's humid, and they'd run that ceiling fan, and it'd suck.
Oh, well, the attic fan.
The attic fan,
yes.
and it would suck it in, and your sheets would be wet.
Yeah.
It'd stick to your sheets.
Yeah, and salty.
Yeah, and salty.
So, I could lay in my bed at night, and if we had a storm coming through, I could turn around, put my head down at the foot of the bed, and I could watch the lightning as it would come. Man, but as soon as that rain hit that tin roof, I was out. I was out.
Yep.
I don't know what it is about rain and a tin roof, but
something about it's mesmerizing.
It will put me out just quick as can be. One day I had my phone plugged in. I'm driving along, and it wasn't a road trip, but it was a good distance I was driving, probably to Hot Springs or to Little Rock or something. And I just had hit random, just shuffle, play, whatever. Well, I have a sound of rain that I used to use at night to put me to sleep. And I'm driving along there, it just flips over to that and it's playing that. And I'm driving along and I'm not paying attention to the fact that it's playing that. And all of a sudden, well, my eyes get heavy and I'm like, oh, and then I realized, wait a minute, I'm sitting here listening to rain fall. No wonder I'm over here about to fall asleep. So, I promise, Mr. State Trooper, sir, I am not intoxicated. I was just listening to it rain. So, let's take a break. How about that? All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
For longer than most of us can remember, Timber Lane Meat Market has been a staple of our community, where quality meats and friendly faces come standard. From everyday dinners to weekend cookouts, make it fresh, make it local, make it Timber Lane. Be sure to check out the daily lunch specials and like us on Facebook. Timber Lane Meat Market, 1336 West Hillsboro in El Dorado. Proud to be part of South Arkansas and even more proud to be displayed on your table.
When the long weeks, paychecks are cashed, where we gonna spend it, buddy? You ain't gotta ask. When the neon lights are kicking on, all of us are headed to a home away from home. It don't look like much, but we're pretty damn smart for some good old boys that can't pass the bar.
For 50 years, one name has kept South Arkansas rolling strong: Smackover Motors. From brand new rides to dependable pre-owned vehicles and hard-working fleets, Smackover Motors has helped generations find the perfect fit for the road ahead. And long after the sale, their expert service department keeps you moving with trusted care, honest work, and hometown service you can count on. 50 years of keys, miles, handshakes, and community. Smackover Motors, driven by service, powered by trust since 1976.
What if I get in a fender bender?
State Farm's there with the assist.
Jersey swap?
Jersey swap.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
Oh, I'm feeling this.
I assisted with security things. Swap.
I assisted with popcorn.
Swap.
Get that jersey.
Get your corn there.
Hey, I assisted myself by filing a claim on the State Farm app.
Swap.
In my halftime show, I had...
It's a great story.
We're done swapping. Too late, circus man.
State Farm with the assist.
Everybody loves a parade, and Hilarious Pizza throws parades all week long. Bring the family in for your favorites, or explore the variety that Hilarious Pizza offers. Come join us at Hilarious Pizza for the greatest parade ever.
When it comes to protecting your home or business, trust the name that's been serving South Arkansas for 3 generations: Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal. From residential roofs to large commercial projects, the experienced team at Cross delivers quality you can see and reliability you can count on. Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal, built on trust, proven by results. Call Cross Roofing today. Put a solid future over your head.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer and sometimes Jax. Hey, by the way, Boomer, did you notice back here
I was
behind me?
about to ask you what's going on with the doll behind us.
Pig Baby.
Pig Baby.
She's famous.
Huh?
Yeah, she's famous. You didn't know that because you're a little older.
Well, yeah.
But Pig Baby's famous.
She is a famous pig.
Yeah.
She's a famous doll.
So her mom is my munchkin. And so the munchkin used to give me Pig Baby and say, Daddy, I'm going to school. I need you to babysit. I'm like, okay, I'll babysit. She said, she doesn't want to go to work with you.
Yeah.
She needs to do something fun today.
Oh, so she had planned your day out.
Yeah.
Not just work.
So my Facebook for a couple of years there was filled up with pictures of Pig Baby swinging on the slides and stopping at the snow cone stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Mushy's like, you do more with her than you do with me.
Yeah.
Which my munchkin graduated the other night. Graduated high school the other night. And then my lawyer graduated the other night, Friday.
And you went to Tulsa to
I
see
went to
that.
Tulsa. Yeah. It was so awesome.
Tulsa's a pretty cool town.
It is a cool town.
And Tulsa University is a beautiful campus.
Place. Yeah, it is.
I had a friend that went there, got his degree in engineering.
And, hey, here's my favorite part. That graduation ceremony, about an hour and 20 minutes.
Got in and out.
Bing, bing, in and out. Mm-hmm. And
was anybody dancing in the aisles and fighting anybody?
No. It wasn't Southern. It was at the University of Tulsa.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, look, don't even get me started. I don't feel like I have a right. I don't feel like I have a right to say anything.
I love the band. And kids are going to act out, and when you do it at a graduation, you're going to get called out.
Well, they could always do them like they did us, and that is, we walked across there and we got a leather folder with an onion skin in it because our finals hadn't been graded yet.
Yeah, yeah, it was just a leather. It was nothing in there.
Right. Well, Munchkin, she didn't get a diploma the other night.
Oh,
her diploma won't be ready till June.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So you can fix a lot of that.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to get out here and show out?
Yeah. He's not going to be.
By the way, what is that dance they're doing?
I don't know.
Because it just looks like they were running in place.
I know it's,
but
and so the guys would come
and
down
having some kind of a seizure, simultaneously.
The guys were coming down off the stage, and there was some official there shaking their hands, and one of them handed him his cap, and not his gown, but his cap,
yeah,
and stuff, and then danced and took it back from him. I was going, I guess it was sanctioned.
You do you, boo.
Yeah.
So you do
anyway.
Hey, Popular Mechanics has asked 5,300 Americans, what are some conspiracies you believe have more credibility than others?
Popular Mechanics asked that?
Yes.
About conspiracies?
Yes.
Okay.
I would assume probably mostly men being popular mechanics.
Yeah.
Number one,
UFO.
JFK assassination.
JFK. Yeah.
There were two shooters on the grassy knoll.
Yeah,
they didn't say that part. It's
his
just
head
that
jerked back the other way. So.
That Lee Harvey Oswald alone was not responsible for the death of JFK. Number two, Area 51.
Yeah.
The cover up there. Number three, the cover up at Roswell.
Yeah. Isn't that the same thing? 51 in Roswell?
51 is in Nevada, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
Hey, JW, look that up for me. Where is Area 51?
That's Nevada.
He didn't have to look it up.
Is it Churchill? Churchill, Nevada?
It's Nevada. I don't remember where, but listen to what's number 4. The moon landing was fake.
There's a lot of past generations past mine that believe the moon landing was fake, that it was all fake.
One of the things I read one time said, you can't get past the such and such layer of the atmosphere, or not the atmosphere, but into outer space. There's a such and such layer, whatever, and you can't get past that. So there's no way you can go to the moon. Well, then
the something belt.
Did we not just do that? Did we not just?
We just sucked around it and come back?
Just went around the moon and came back.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. So this one also surprised me. Number 5, the Denver International Airport is the headquarters worldwide for the Illuminati.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna tell you, I was at Denver International years ago, and I was waiting on a flight, and I'm gonna tell you what it was headquarters for that morning. The gay movement, because they were all going somewhere, and they were all meeting each other, and it was all happening right in front of me They were at the gate that I was at the gate of.
Nice.
And so I was going, there's 50 of them here. They're all going to a convention somewhere. And you know, you be you, boo, like you say.
Yeah.
I was just witness to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lot you know, I remember when they built that airport, you know,
It's out
like
in
the
the middle of
early
nowhere.
90s. And you know, nothing in the early 90s cost $1 billion.
That one did.
That one cost multiple billions of dollars. And, you know, I even remember back then, they were like, what are they building 34-mile tunnels for? You know, and like tunnels that run to NORAD and stuff. I mean, it's like, you know, okay, wait a minute. So that surprised me. Of course, there were plenty of the, you know, the airplane exhaust trails are filled with chemicals.
Yeah, that's been debunked.
Fluoride added to the drinking water has a negative effect on intelligence. You know,
only in the South.
But here were the ones that I wanted to share with you. This one made the top 20. Princess Diana's death was planned and executed perfectly. Otherwise, how do you explain a car crash in one single tunnel in Paris that has 0 cameras? The only tunnel in Paris that has no cameras.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Subtext conspiracies include Diana was pregnant, and the reason it took emergency workers 90 minutes to retrieve her body and get her to a hospital was so that her dead fetus could be removed.
Oh, my Lord.
Others include she was not dead upon the collision, but was shot in the head as well. So, here's another interesting.
But you've seen the woman that he's married to now, though.
My gosh, it's the woman he was fooling around with while he was married to her.
I know.
Hey,
and she's the queen.
Love is blind. You don't believe me? Just look at Camilla. Here's one, Boomer. Cursive has been removed from the curriculum because all of our country's founding documents are written in cursive. Therefore, if you can't read them, you have no idea what your rights are and what it is you should resist from the government.
Well, that's quite possibly true.
It could be, yeah.
Because the Illuminati in Denver decided that.
Yeah, exactly. Here's another conspiracy in the top 20. Lots of celebrities have faked their deaths in order to go live a normal life, including Elvis, JFK, Marilyn Monroe, Tupac.
I wouldn't doubt some of them have, but I don't know if all of those have.
You know, here's the problem with like Elvis, for example. You know, there's a preacher here in Arkansas that everyone swears is Elvis Presley. Mm-hmm. He's the right age, voice is perfect. They put him on some facial recognition software, and supposedly
sounds like him.
He does. But I know lots of people who can sound like him, you know, including Phil Herring. Now, he doesn't sound as much like him as Phil thinks he does.
My boy Phil.
Yeah, old Phil.
His office is at the mall in Hot Springs.
Yeah. The problem I see is when you have someone who has the immense amount of talent like Elvis, I don't think he can ever be comfortable not sharing that talent.
Yeah.
I think his fame was a byproduct of who he really is, and that was he had that talent in him. I don't know if he can ever get rid of that.
Yeah,
you know, I would hope. Listen, you know the easiest way: go dig up that grave at Graceland.
Yeah,
that's the easiest way to find out. But that's never going to happen.
No.
Tupac, you know, Tupac was as gay as they came before he became a rapper. Have you ever seen those? Have you ever seen those interviews with? Oh my gosh, he's like, hi.
You do that well.
You know, well, I've watched him a number of times.
Okay, you watch Tupac do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I imitate people.
Oh, I know you do.
Yeah. So, hey, just because I can imitate Bill Clinton doesn't mean I've ever known a woman with a blue dress. Okay. It's a Republican's fault that I screwed up.
In fact, I did.
In fact, I did have a relationship. Let's see. Getting rid of the life hack classes in school, i.e. cooking, personal/home finance, and many agriculture-related classes was intentional to make the next generation more dependent on AI and technology.
I'd have to agree with that one.
Something's going on because, they don't do that anymore.
You know, listen, I'm telling you, if I ever get to speak at a high school graduation, I'm going to say, I know y'all think we're all here because y'all are the best class ever, and you're not. You're absolutely not. If y'all want to impress me, read this. Hold something up in cursive. You know, you want to impress me, change a flat.
Make change.
Exactly.
Balance your checkbook. Mow your damn yard. Stand up when they play the national anthem. That'll impress me. Otherwise, I'm not that impressed.
So you're a MAGA Republican. A MAGA independent, maybe.
Well, what they believe what Sandy believes is what it is.
Who does? I got you.
Them MAGAs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there are good people on both sides.
Yes, absolutely there are. And in the middle, too. Since we were talking about conspiracies, I thought this would fit right in. Once thought to be scientific fact that humans are responsible for climate change.
Debunked.
That theory has lost steam. So, pun intended, incidentally. In 1989, 20% of Americans believed that that the climate change was man-made.
Yeah.
Okay. By the year 2000, just 11 years later, 40% of Americans believed that. By the year 2015, 49% of Americans believed that. By the year 2024, 36%. That number dropped from 49 to 36% in 9 years.
What happened?
Well, I think, first of all, the inconvenient truth of Al Gore's movie, The Inconvenient Truth. If you remember that movie, Kilimanjaro was going to have no snow on it within 10 years. Oceans would rise at catastrophic levels in the near future. Now, he made that documentary in 2006. It's 2026. Is 20 years near future?
Later. Yeah.
I mean,
that's near future.
That's near future to most people.
Here's the other thing. The chiefs of finance are not going to build high rises on the beach in Florida if they really believe that the oceans are going to rise 20 feet within the next 20 years.
Another thing, well, he only predicted. Well, yeah, it was 20 feet because 7 meters. Yeah. But here's the other one. Hurricanes like Katrina were going to become the norm, and the U.S. was going to be hit by multiples of those every year. Hurricanes have died since 2005. I mean, Katrina was like the closing act. Yeah, we've had a couple. Hurricane Harvey hit Houston. It was bad. Don't get me wrong. And we've had some, Superstorm Sandy that hit up in the Northeast. It was bad. I get it. But we've not had anything like Katrina. And
what has happened is the ice on the poles, on the North Pole, is melting. That is happening.
Yes,
but it's not because of something we've done.
Well, here's the thing, though, Boomer, and I looked it up today. After I was reading this, I made myself a note the other day, and then I was looking it up today. Since 1950, okay, so we're talking about 76 years. The polar ice cap has receded 32 centimeters in 76 years. No, receded, not.
Oh, pulled back. So we only lost 32 centimeters in 60 years.
It's about 10 inches. And so the thickness, so like Kilimanjaro, for example, if you go, there's some ski lodges on Kilimanjaro, incidentally. You can go right now and look, and they'll tell you, we've got 8 feet of fresh powder. And then the ice on Kilimanjaro, they don't know how thick it is because they hadn't been able to get through it yet.
Okay.
So they know for a fact it's at least 40 meters thick. They know that. But
so there's still people that are going to say that burning of fossil fuels is changing the ozone or whatever.
Well, yeah, but who cares what Greta, what's her name, thinks? First of all, she's a foreigner. She's a foreigner. How dare you? So I don't put a lot of stock in what she says.
Well, she's one of them Germans, isn't she? She's from
Slavic
company or
Norway or Sweden or something. Why isn't her ass in school?
Yeah, go to school.
That's the first thing.
Learn cursive.
You want to impress me, Greta? Read this in cursive.
Yeah.
Of course, she went to Palestine with free Palestine flags all over her boat, and then wondered why she got picked up by Israeli Port Authority. Well, it could be. I don't know what it was, but I can tell you what it could be. So, like you say about stories said, well, that happened or very well could have.
Very well could have happened.
Yeah.
My hand held up.
Some of the other predictions that were made in 2006, a high probability that polar bears would be extinct by now.
Well, why is it that all of the nature shows they show are purporting this theory that the ice is melting and the polar bears can't?
Yeah. Well, so for example, I saw a YouTube video today of Mount Kilimanjaro with no snow on it.
Yeah.
Because they took that video in the middle of the summer.
Okay.
It's not going to have snow in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, it's got snow right now though, and it's May.
Kilimanjaro's the one in Hawaii. Where's that at?
It's over there.
Over there. What's the one in Hawaii?
I don't know.
There's
no snow there. Is
sure there is up on top of it.
Up on top of that volcano?
Volcano.
Yeah. I'm not going up there, incidentally. just so we're all clear.
Well, they have those observations, with the big satellite things, and they look at the moon and stars.
Good for them.
Yep.
So, yeah, the polar bears were going to be extinct because, number one, there's no floating ice for them to get up on, so they're drowning.
That's what I was talking about.
And then the ones who do find ice, it's so far away that while they're swimming there, orcas are getting them.
The orcas are eating the polar bears now?
Hey, you know how badass you have to be to eat a polar bear?
Now, orcas are pretty bad.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
They eat whale babies for sure.
The Gulf Stream would be shut down, causing Europe to enter into a multi-millennia ice age.
Well, if you shut it down, they're going to have ice over there, but it hadn't happened.
It hadn't happened. This was something that was supposedly happening at that moment in 2006. Small Pacific islands were being overtaken by rising sea levels, and the inhabitants had already begun fleeing to New Zealand.
So,
every one of the islands,
Pacific and all that.
Yeah, every one of the islands are still there. Greenland would melt. Guess what? I don't want Trump to have it, right?
Yeah. Now I'm telling you, we're going to get all kind of mail about this.
I hope so. I can't wait. Keep them cards and letters coming, folks.
We are. We're going to get some people to talking about this.
I don't care.
I know you don't care, but I'm just telling you because it's a very controversial subject with people that they have been told so long that these things are happening. I want to tell you, I just don't think that we have enough power as humans to control what happens on our globe.
Outside of nuclear.
Yeah.
Outside of nuclear proliferation, I'm not sure that we do.
Yeah. If you build big enough bomb and then set it off, you maybe could change the orbit of the Earth. Just jump it a little bit. But I don't think we when the BP explosion out in the Gulf devastated the estuaries of South Louisiana.
All along the coast, yeah.
Yeah, but because I knew people. But they said within just, not a long period of time. I don't know what it was.
It wasn't even a year.
That the oil had just all gone down to the bottom and that everything was fine again. I mean, it ruined oysters and a lot of stuff.
It did.
It was bad. But
not as bad as what they said it was.
Mother Earth was able to, just like the one up in Alaska.
Yeah, the Exxon Valdez. That's what I was going to say. They said it would be 30 years before wildlife could ever live there again.
But, even Jed Clampett knew that a lot of times oil wound up on top of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was shooting at some food and up through the ground came a
bubbling
crude. Your skin folks said, Jed, move away from that.
Was it 19?
They said California.
I think, baby. You're going to get a permanent seat at the table, I can tell you.
But the Tar Heels, North Carolina. I mean, all that was on the ground.
Yeah.
Up there at Smackover. Well, that ain't supposed to be on the ground.
Well, I was up there chasing a wildfire. Let me tell you, I knew every spot that was on the ground, though. So, but in 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, they said it'll be after the year 2000 before people will be able to live there again.
It was a bad disaster.
And they were living there the next week.
Yeah.
After it finally quit blowing up.
They were growing tomatoes in ash.
It's just like, come on, man. I mean, every doomsday and it's so easy to throw that kind of stuff out there to just get people to believe it.
And there's a site you can go to and talk about all the things that they have predicted year after year after year since I was a little kid that, just to try to get you to freak out over stuff. And it's worked.
Oh, yeah. Here's my favorite. Does no one else remember 1975 when Newsweek said we were entering an ice age?
Yeah.
I mean, and then, my favorites, we actually had this discussion at the radio station one time with another employee, and climate change, not global warming, climate change is being caused, and it'll cause droughts, and then sometimes excessive rain.
Sometimes cold, sometimes hot.
That's called seasons. Look how hot it is right now. It's because it's summer. I mean, come on.
Well, and here's the deal. The Earth has a wobble to it. If you've ever played with a top when it gets it loses its momentum, it starts to wobble a little bit. And that's a poor analogy, but the earth does that too. And it's over thousands and thousands of years, but it changes us a little bit. And God was smart enough to kind of tilt this thing so we wouldn't be in summer all the time or wouldn't be in ice all the time. But anyway, I believe in a creator, and he's going to handle it.
Couple of things. First of all, did you know that the internal rotation of the Earth has reversed?
The internal rotation,
Yeah,
yes.
I don't know what that means.
The poles had reversed it before also. The negative in the, just the poles of the Earth.
So the core of the Earth, which is supposedly spinning on its own, has now reversed and is going the opposite direction of what the outside of the Earth is going.
Yeah.
And so I guess, sooner or later it could stop and start going the other way. We'll start having sunrise in the west and setting in the east.
It's not going to do that.
Why not?
Well, I mean, because it just can't.
Because the Bible says it's not going to.
It's not going to.
Exactly. The other one is, and this is how I explained it to my kids when they were little. I went into the restroom.
We're all going to die.
And I told them, close your eyes. And they'd close their eye. And I put this rag up to their face. And I said, now open your eye. Can you see? Like, yeah. I said, So that makes you think there's a big hole in this rag, right? Yeah. And as I pull it back and I'm stepping away from them, you can't even see it because it's such a small little hole. We don't have enough data. These are the people who tell us that the earth is billions and billions of years old, but you want to take the last 100 years and tell us that's what's going on?
You look through colored glass now, the Bible says.
Yeah, look through glass dimly or darkly. Yeah. But then the day will come when you will know as you are known.
And we could talk about some stuff that the Bible says is going to happen that'll freak out the regular guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I believe there's going to be a global warming. There certainly is going to be one. And if you go back and read that Greek text from John, it basically, God reaches in and turns the earth inside out. And then there's a new heaven and a new earth. And the lion lays down with the lamb, and there's them 144,000. They get to do what they do, but the rest of us,
later on.
Oh, don't get me started. Okay.
Yeah, that's a whole nother deal.
Yeah. Let's take another break. We come back. We're going to talk
about Mike.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Michael Fife about his campaign and whatever possessed someone to want to run for sheriff. So,
he's led a good life.
He's not sure yet. He's not sure why he's doing this yet. But no, we'll do all that when we come back right after this on Off the Back Porch.
A new shipment of express boats is in at Country Village Sporting Goods. Or maybe your boat just needs a little TLC. We have appointments available in our service department. And of course, we keep a great selection of Catalina campers. New baits, new tackle, and the latest in gear are arriving every week. So when we say everything you need to get to the water, the woods, or the camp, we're talking about Country Village Sporting Goods, 965 Smackover Highway in El Dorado. Like us on Facebook.
For over 6 decades, Glenn Mechanical has been specializing in HVAC, plumbing, and all mechanical jobs. 3 generations family-owned and operated since 1956. Glenn Mechanical's business is based on relationships. They support and give back to the communities they work in. Contact them for all of your HVAC, plumbing, and mechanical needs. GlennMechanical.com.
Serving South Arkansas for 25 years, and all the while expanding and growing throughout the state. ProMed Ambulance is proving their motto of world-class care and hometown values. For example, their new mobile integrated healthcare communication center. This state-of-the-art facility allows communication specialists to work directly with local 911 call centers to ensure the closest medical team is always dispatched to any emergency. World-class care and hometown values. For more information and career opportunities, go to ProMedAmbulance.com.
Bad things happen, and of course, they never happen at the right time. Maybe it's just a little bump and cosmetic damage, or it's turned into a huge insurance claim and you just don't know where to go next. That's why so many of your neighbors and friends call on Cook's Body Shop in El Dorado. From the minor to the major, Cook's Body Shop is in your corner. Need someone to help you deal with insurance? Look to Cook's. Need advice on what to do next? Look to Cook's. Need a free estimate? Look to Cook's. Bad things are going to happen, and when they do, look to Cook's.
The brand new deli is open at Davis Farms Country Market. Featuring Boar's Head cheese and meats. Try the Turkey Bacon Ranch, the London Broil Roast Beef, the Club Sandwich, or a fresh and crispy BLT. Check out their Cranberry Pecan Chicken Salad, not to mention fresh hot gumbo, the soup of the day, and more. Davis Farms Country Market, 4523 Junction City Highway, or call 870-639-1323.
Non-stop phone calls, registered mail, repossessions, or threats of lawsuits from creditors, and it seems like no one is willing to let you hit pause and just catch your breath. You need the help of Robert Rushing and the Rushing Law Firm. Bankruptcy is not the end. It can be a chance for a fresh start. The Rushing Law Firm goes to work for you, letting you hit that pause button and start over. Call the Rushing Law Firm today at 870-875-2940 or stop by the office at 725 Northwest Avenue in El Dorado. The Rushing Law Firm.
When it comes to your family's financial future, peace of mind matters. At Harrison Financial Management, they are right here to help you plan, grow, and protect what matters most. Whether you're planning for retirement, investing wisely, or securing your family's future, they will guide you every step of the way. Harrison Financial Management, your future, their commitment.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Jackson Boomer and sometimes Sandy.
No,
that's not how it goes.
Sometimes Jax.
Yeah, sometimes Jax. That's what it is. Yeah. I am surprised we didn't get any letters this week. They're coming though.
Oh yeah. About Jax?
Every time Jax is on here with us, we get these messages from our viewers like, y'all need to have Jax on more often. I can look at him all day.
Oh.
So
it's kind of like when a serial killer goes to jail.
They get these fans, right?
Same way with Jax.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. He's ruggedly good looking.
He is ruggedly handsome and he's smart.
Yeah.
And he's a very hard worker.
Yeah.
And I just need him to find some woman and make me some grandbabies. You hear me? Damn it.
He said quit worrying about that.
I know what he said.
It'll happen when he happens.
When I'm dead and gone.
Well, brother, you're still young. You're still in your 50s. Look, you live good as I am, and I'm 70. So...
Hell, I hope I'm living better than you are. You got all kinds of problems.
You'd have to bring. That's like I said I was going to have that surgery. You start talking about C-sections. I'm going to have carpal tunnel. He goes, have you ever seen a C-section? I says, they're not going to fillet. He said, oh, they're going to. Why you think they're putting you to sleep? They're going to fillet that hand open. I said, shut up.
Oh well. Yeah. Best of luck on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not going to say anything else.
You can say whatever you want.
No, I can't either. I can't just say whatever I want. Yeah. They cancel people for that.
Well, I mean, you got the editor.
Yeah. I got to pay attention though. That's the problem.
To edit it?
Yeah.
You just let it run and you playing on your phone?
No, I'm not playing on my phone. A lot of times I'm doing something else.
Okay.
And I'm just listening. And then I'll be like, ooh, I hadn't really been paying attention like the last 10 minutes. Let me back it back up. Listen again. So, Michael Fife is with us. And Mike is the Republican nominee for Sheriff of Union County, Arkansas. And Mike, first of all, thank you for coming on the program with us. And, you and I have developed a friendship. At least I think we have a friendship. And I appreciate that. And I just need part of our audience who may not know you to just know a little more about you. And so let's start off with you talked about how you went to work. You originally started at the Union County Sheriff's Office, right?
Started there in August of 1990.
So were you a jailer?
Started at the jailer when the jail was at the courthouse on the 3rd floor. That's where I started.
Wow.
When I first moved here, people would be standing on the street corner hollering. And they looking up and hollering. I'm going, what are they?
Having conversations?
They're talking to people in jail.
That's probably won't now because up there's one air conditioner that was in our little office, which was a jail cell.
Yeah,
I've been up. They had big old box fans.
I've been up there. I've been up there.
At the top of that building, hot.
Yeah.
Hey, that'd be enough deterrent to keep you out.
Yeah.
I'll wait till October before I commit this crime. It's a little too hot up there now.
We're gonna
Judge is out of town.
We're going to plan this ice a little different.
I can't get bonded out till about Tuesday or Wednesday. So then, and then I'm assuming you went from that to patrol.
Yeah, went up to patrol about a year later. Then I worked my way up through narcotics and criminal investigations, back to narcotics. Then I stayed there for a while. Doc, I just got sick of it. So I asked the sheriff at that time, would he move me back to patrol, and that's where I went until I took the police chief's job there in Smackover in 2006. And where I stayed for 18 years, then came back down here as an investigator to run for Union County Sheriff.
That's what I was going to say. You made no secret about it when you came back to the sheriff's department from leaving Smackover as the chief of police, and you came to the sheriff's office. You made it very clear. I've come to run for sheriff.
You're 100% correct.
And I think I remember the conversation was, the first time Ricky don't run, I am.
Exactly what I said.
So, I don't think any of us expected that it would be this year.
No, I did not. That threw me for a loop, but we're going to get through it and move right on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I wonder what I've gotten into, but I wanted 3 or 4 more years to plan.
Okay.
But when he walks in and says, guess what, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
You have to speed that up, and I've been lucky. I've had a lot of friends, family supporting it, so we're doing good.
That's what I'm going to say. Now, from the outside looking in, and it certainly appears that you have you've kind of got a groundswell of support.
Yes, sir.
And I know that you've also been meeting with people that you had never. You would think in a county like Union County, although geographically large, it's not that. I mean, you're talking about 35,000 people, and you would think you would know most everyone, and you probably do know most everyone. But I've heard you telling me some stories about you met people you'd never known before, and found places in the county you'd never seen before.
Correct. And what's really getting me is the dress code we're having to do now. I'm not a suit and tie guy.
Yeah.
Never have been.
Yeah.
I got 3 coats now.
Yeah.
And been told to wear them. I'm like, come on, that's not me.
As a candidate,
as a candidate and going to visit with people, that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm a worker. I'm not a visitor, but I'm doing it because that's what they told me to do.
Well,
my wife's having fun dressing.
Well, here's the thing. I think the electorate understands that,
right?
But they want to know that you can. I think that's the biggest thing. They want to know that if you were in a situation where you're meeting with the governor or a president or whatever, that you could look up that part. I think that's the biggest thing.
Right.
Where I grew up in East Texas, don't you dare run for sheriff without a picture of you in a cowboy hat. Don't you dare. There was a guy that he was leading in all the polls until that first piece of campaign literature come out, and he had on a ball cap. And I remember them old timers saying, I don't trust the sheriff, can't wear a cowboy hat. I mean, I heard them say it.
Yeah.
And boy, he scrapped all those and got him a new piece out and had big old wide brim cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Well, you can understand that in Texas.
Yeah. But at the same time, I ran a sheriff's campaign over in Louisiana. His first piece of literature he put out prior to me running his campaign had a picture of him in a cowboy hat. And I said, come with me. And we went to this church, and I asked the pastor, I said, when you look at that, what do you see? He said, racist cracker.
Because he had a cowboy hat on.
Because he had that cowboy hat on. Ooh. And he wasn't smiling.
Oh, he had a mug face.
And it's like, I get it. You want to be tough on crime, but that's not the message you're running on. You're running on being inclusive and making a sheriff's department that looks like the community and serves the community. And I told him, I said, that's not it. You in a cowboy hat with that scowl on your face. No. You didn't just play in a varsity football game. I've never understood people don't smile in pictures.
We used to not. In my mother's day, that all the
that's because our dental health was so terrible.
Well, maybe that's true. But anyway,
but I don't care if I get in a knockdown, drag out fisticuff with somebody, and then somebody's gonna take a picture after, I'm gonna smile. I'm happy. I got Jesus on the inside. I went to a liquor store, and the guy in there, he says, you're the only customer I have who smiles. Every time you come in, you are always like, hey, how are you, my friend? Hello, my friend. Hi. He said, I tell my wife, he smiles all the time. And I was like, man, I can't help it. I got Jesus on the inside. He said, I've heard of this Jesus.
That's why you're American smiling.
Got Jesus on the inside, he's going to show up on the outside. And if you know somebody who can't be happy, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, check the fruit.
Well, and we're off subject, but European countries and Middle East countries, they don't. When you meet someone on the sidewalk, you don't smile. I mean, that's that's not a part of their culture.
Oh, I loved it. The guy I used to work for, Gene Fields, he ended up marrying a woman from England, and I asked her one time. They were over at the house eating crawfish, by the way, and they were over at the house, and I asked her. I said, "What's the biggest thing?" She said, what is this thing that y'all do where you pull over on the side of the road and let someone pass, and then you wave at them as you pass them? I was like, well, that's just in Texas.
Courtesy.
I
Yeah.
said
That's
that's
only in
not
Texas.
all of America. That's
Yeah.
just. She said, but everywhere I go in America, y'all in the States, y'all speak and y'all smile. We don't do that. Yeah, I get it.
That's because that's why we beat y'all. we're smilers.
You're welcome. So when you again you had it wasn't like, you know what, maybe I could run, or somebody had to come talk you into running for sheriff. You knew you were going to come over and run for sheriff, and everyone. So I say this, it's not like we're casting an aspersion at anyone else or an indictment at them, but there will always be, every sheriff wants to put their own trademark on their administration. So there's always things they want to change, whether it's the uniforms or the cars or the hours the shifts go or whatever it is.
Right.
What are some of those things that you see that you would like to change in the sheriff's office? Again, not saying that the way it's being done is wrong.
No, it's nothing going to run wrong out there. But, you know, to me, your presence in this community is vital.
Amen.
And you've got to look professional to be treated that way. And right now, we're working on it, but I think our uniform need to get back to where you look like you're welcome you to walk up to talk to them. Right now, some of these officers step out and they're like, no, I'm not talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
I do this comparisons. I've talked to several people around town. I said, put El Dorado, Union County, and the state trooper beside each other, all three of them together. If you're in a bind or you're in needing help, who you gonna walk to? It's gonna be that state trooper because of the way he looks, the way he presents himself. We've got to get back to that.
I am 100% in agreement. I have never liked seeing my officers dressed paramilitary.
Me neither.
So when I'm a patrol sergeant back in the day, right? And I show up at the PD one day, and I walk in the door. Our shift starts at 4:00, and there's this kid, and he's a kid. He's fresh out of the academy. I walk in. He's in BDU pants, and he's strapping on. He already has knee pads on. He's putting elbow pads on. And I said, Trey, what are you doing? And he said, here's what he did. He went, us versus them, Sarge. Us versus them. And I was like, okay, hold on a second. I was like, you can take the rest of the day off. I said, and when you show up for your shift tomorrow, you better be in uniform and you better have a different attitude. What do you mean? I said, look at that car right behind me. It doesn't say us versus them. It says to protect and serve.
Exactly right.
And I said, and we need not to forget the serve part, okay? And I said, so he said, are you suspending me? I said, yes, I am. For today, I am. Well, I'll take it before the Civil Service Commission. I said, I can't wait. So we go before the Civil Service. This idiot couldn't read a room, man. He just couldn't, you know. And it was made up of the mayor. The vice mayor is what she called herself, although she was just a city councilwoman. But she called herself the vice mayor, and one other city councilman. And the one thing that none of them wanted were cowboys with guns.
No.
And so when I told them he was out of uniform, they said, what do you mean? I said, well, he had on SWAT gear. And I said, he was putting on elbow pads, and he said it was us versus them. And that woman went, oh! And I said, so I told him he couldn't be here that day. And they were like, anything you need to say for yourself? And he's like, well, they said, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Suspension upheld.
Exactly.
I don't like my police to look paramilitary.
Yeah.
Me neither. I think you need to be presentable and just professional. And right now, they don't. I hate to say that. It's just because they hadn't taken the time to find the right uniform. You could wear them outer carry vest, but you can find ones that look good and look right to me.
Yeah.
I might be stepping on a few toes, but I'm just my opinion.
Again,
instead of being look like you in Fallujah or something.
if the state police can operate without looking like they jumped out of the back of a Humvee, then our police and our sheriff's office should be able to do the same.
I agree.
And I realize that uniform he's wearing is not the most comfortable in the world. I get it. But it's functional, and they, like you said, they are approachable.
It serves a purpose.
I don't think you could reach up and grab one of them's shirts.
No.
You could try. Hey, after I watched that one trooper take a head dive out of that Dodge Charger, he had to chase down at 140 miles an hour.
You know, and I'm also a firm believer on your vehicles. They should be able to be seen. I don't like a dark car for his patrol. I want a bright one. I want it striped where you can see it at night.
Where it
No
says
ghost
sheriff.
lettering.
Sheriff on it.
No, yeah, no ghost letters.
No, because you're there to patrol, not hide.
That's right.
If you got it where you can hide, that means you're not doing something.
I agree.
And I just think they need to be where you know who they are when they come down that road. Period.
So obviously, again, I was a patrol sergeant. My job, one of my duties was at the beginning of every shift and the end of every shift was write down the mileage of each vehicle. And I would tell those guys that work for me, I was like, guys, if I'm putting more miles a day on my vehicle than you are on yours, you're not doing your job.
You're right.
You are 100% not doing your job. Because the other thing is I also ran a DWI task force. So, you know, we'd get someone wrapped up and we'd have to take them to Mansfield, which is 30 miles away. So I'd be like, hey, Troy, take them over to Mansfield and drop them off. So you should have 60 miles on me for that, you know, if nothing else. And I'd say there's no reason I'm putting more miles a day on my vehicle than you are yours. And I never once had to answer to the city council for how much gas we used or for how many miles we put on a vehicle.
Speaking of city council, when I first took the chief's job here in Smackover, I had a couple officers there. Says, we can't drive over 20 miles a night. I said, who told y'all that? Well, the chief and city council. So I went to the mayor and he said, what are you talking about? I've been on city council for 35 years. I said, that's what they've been telling me. He said, Michael, they put 100 on it. I'll pay for every gas you put in, I'll do it.
Yep.
So I went back to him and said, that stops tonight. They argued with me. And I said, either do it or go home.
It's one way or the other.
In 20 miles, this is no joke, we figured it out. You could sit at that office, go to Sumac, eat lunch 3 times, 20 miles. That's what they did. And I said, no, this stops today. I couldn't believe that. I said, no, there's no way any city is going to put a mileage restriction on you if they care about their city.
If they care about their, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, it amazed me. I'm like, then I got to thinking, should I say the sheriff's department?
Yeah.
But I'm glad I didn't. When I went there, I learned about managing people and budgets.
Yeah.
It's a smaller budget than
Of course.
County, but I think I done very well. At least I never got caught on carpet for spending too much money.
Now, is there any truth to the rumor that the first thing you plan to do is to get you a real nurse and get rid of that nurse that's out there?
We might keep her. We're not for sure.
I'm going to be in so much trouble.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, you know, it's funny when Ricky came in, it was post his announcement that he was leaving, but he had not left yet. He went back to the city. So he comes in with us on the podcast, and I said, Ricky, it's just us. Tell me the truth. You're leaving because of the nurse. And he's like, man, it's the jail. So I'm happy to hear you say that. I agree. I think sheriff's department vehicles should be seen. I think that's very important. You know, you do have the misfortune of having the largest geographic county in the state.
Yes.
You know, if you're in Dodge City and the other person on duty is in Felsenthal, y'all could take off driving towards each other as fast as you could safely do so, and it'd be an hour before you met each other.
Where's Dodge City?
Going to Haynesville.
Okay, yeah.
They're at the state line.
That's right.
It's a long way.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no, ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a big county.
You know, back when I first started patrol, there was 3 of us.
Wow.
I was in
Patrol the whole county.
I was in Felsenthal one time. Me and Deputy Crowder, we had to leave there and go all the way to Mount Holly to a shooting. That's a long way.
That's a long way to Mount Holly.
I mean, you have to stop and get gas.
You pray your car don't break down. Back then, they didn't. We had cars. You didn't take one home with you. You come to the office, you got one. And everybody drove one.
Everybody's driven it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But yeah, it amazed me how much bigger we've gotten since then. And but we've got to take care of these cars too. I mean, they're not cheap anymore.
How many patrolmen do we have on shifts now?
Right now, if you got a full shift right now, you'll have 5. We're working on moving some things around and possibly sheriff.
Are they assigned to a certain area?
No, they're not. I think it's something we need to look at. You can always swap it up. Say, okay,
on Mondays, you
go here.
You
Tuesdays,
go here.
We need to look at that because a lot of these young deputies we were hiring from outside this county may not know anything about this county.
Yeah.
The only way to learn it is drive it.
Yeah.
I understand you can use your maps on your phone, that stuff. But to learn it, you need to drive it and see it.
Yeah. If you hire a young man who's from Crossett,
exactly,
and then you tell him, hey, I need you to be around Junction City. He going to put it in his GPS. You know,
He going to go to Junk City to the center and stop.
Right. He's not going to know where Caledonia is. He's not going to know where,
But I want them in the communities learning it. I want the communities to learn them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Right. And if you get out there and you visit with people, especially during the summer when you see people cooking and grilling, get out and say hi to them.
Yeah.
And let them
Not
know
to get a plate.
Yeah, not to get a plate.
You know, let them know you're here.
Yeah.
You're not there to bother them. You just say to visit with them. I want that to happen.
So listen, I'm assigned to this area. I saw y'all outside. I just want to let you know who I am.
Correct.
You can call on
Hey,
me.
if you have here's my card. If you ever have a problem, call me.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they'll appreciate that.
And we did that in Smackover up there. On the 4th of July, certain areas were getting mad at us because we didn't come get a plate.
Oh, I got you. They wanted you to come up there.
Yes.
Well, Sandy was referring to you had a
I had a
guy with him.
sergeant. So what we would do is at one point at the department, the sergeants would cross each other's shifts by about 30 minutes. And so if you're the oncoming sergeant, you jump in the passenger seat, and the sergeant who was on duty and about to go off duty would take you around and say, hey, we got a call there today or tonight, or hey, we're still looking for the guy that lives there. He beat up his wife, and we went to get him, and he took off running in the woods, and he'll be around in a day or two. We'll pick him up, and so we did. So one time he and I are doing that ride along, and he's like, "Hey, pull over right here." And I saw a group, and it was the only apartment complex in the city. We pull into the apartment complex, and there's a group out there. They got a big old grill going. I mean, the smoke's pouring. He's like, "Pull up right there." It's like, okay. And he gets out and he walks over and he's talking to him a minute and gets him a plate and makes it up, brings it, gets back in the car. I said, "Oh, did you know them?" He said, "I have no idea who they are." He said, "I just told him I needed a plate." And I thought, man, you're sorry. I just thought to myself, you're sorry. Now,
that's not community relations at all.
We were very fortunate because just about every restaurant in that city, if we came in there to eat in uniform, we never paid.
Nope.
We never paid because they loved having on-duty police officers in the building. Of course, we also had casinos, so that was another biggie. But they'd love for us to walk through. And actually, we had to terminate one officer. He would go through the casino, just do a walkthrough in the casino, and the owner would go over there and hand him $20 in chips, and he'd play. You can't do that.
No.
Well, you can't accept money.
No.
Yeah.
You can't do that while you're being paid by the city. Now, if he wants to be off duty and do security for them, he could be paid at however much they agreed on. That became a problem too because our chief of police was elected, and so our elected chief was then also doing off-duty security. That's a violation of Louisiana state law. You can't do that.
Yeah, not if you're elected.
Not if you're elected.
You're a full-time employee.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, but I like it. I like, again, like you said, getting deputies in the community where they know the people know them. And again, knowing I've never run, but when I was a teenager, I was on my four-wheeler one time. I'm on the highway, and a state trooper comes up. He lights me up, and I pulled right over. And I knew him and knew him very well. Also knew he had a reputation. He beat the living daylights out of you if you showed out. So I wasn't going to show out. Anyways, he pulls me over, and he said, "Man," he said, "how fast is that thing?" I said, "I've had it up to 110. It's a Yamaha Banshee 2-stroke. Thing's fast. And he said, "You could have run from me." And I said, "I could have." And I said, "And there's a better than not chance I'd have probably got away." He said, "Yeah, till I pulled up to your house." Because I know who you are, And I was like, "I know." And he said, "Well, thank you for not doing that." And I was like, "No, sir, I'd never do that." And he said, "I just, you see a four-wheeler on the highway at 11 o'clock at night. I'm just wondering why you're out here." And I said, "Yes, sir, I understand." And I told him, I said, "I've been over at Caveman's house." And he said, "Oh, Gilcrease." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I've been over there." And I said, "I'm just riding back home." And I said, "There's, like 0.4 of a mile of highway that I have to get on to do that." And I said, "I used to try to stay there on the shoulder." I said, "But the last 2 times I did it, I ended up having to replace a tire." And I said, "So I figure, if you're going to write me a ticket, it's cheaper than the tires I'm having to replace on this thing."
Yeah,
But what the deal is, though, over the years, even since the few years that I've been here, well, it's 37 now, but you hear all the time of people dying on the highway riding a four-wheeler.
Yeah.
And you think and kids, doubling up on four-wheelers and
listen,
it's against the law because it's dangerous.
There's a reason.
It's because it's dangerous. And I have a four-wheeler, and I've never been on a highway or a road, but they will scoop.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're on a gravel road, they will slide.
That's right.
And so, you know, it's just a dangerous proposition, and it's accepted in our part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was at Felsenthal, especially on Memorial Day weekend, when it's, you know, there's a lot of people on four-wheelers,
Right.
and during the Brimfest. But, you know, I think it needs to be patrolled and looked at, and
Well,
you know,
if you
we're
get-
not trying to kill anybody's fun.
Right.
We're just trying to save your life.
If you get some out there that's acting idiot, you got to tend
That's
to
it. Yeah.
Because that's going to hurt the ones that's not acting.
Yeah.
But you take care of them, say you're not going to do that, then
Because there's guys that do trail rides
Right.
all over South Arkansas, and those are a lot of fun. They go out and
especially down there around where you live. I
Yeah,
mean,
they had two big ones this weekend down there.
Yeah.
One in Irvine and one down on RL Road.
Yeah.
Not one call we have on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
That's-
no, those guys police themselves.
They
That's
do.
what I was going to say. Is a lot of that if you'll just leave them be, they'll take care of it.
Well,
because what they don't want is they don't want the sheriff's
That's
department
right.
showing up.
Yeah, and they'll have big side-by-sides, too.
Right,
Now,
yes.
I was at Martha, my wife does catering, and we were doing a wedding out in the country. About 10 of them, side-by-sides with the big tires and everything, pull up to the wedding. They were all invited, but they were having a ride, and it was an outdoor wedding. I thought, that's the coolest.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get that everywhere.
You don't see
know.
that everywhere.
No.
But that was cool. But they, you know, all of them rode up and muddy.
But you know, Justin Michelle down there, they put on that big one every year. They have a jackpot, and they have a hole, and basically whoever makes it through that hole the fastest wins that jackpot. And I don't remember, man, it's a lot of money. It's not like they win $50. It's like a couple grand. And so the guy that's won it the last couple of years, and I'm not going to say his name, he always says, man, it's not fair. He said, my machine is built for this. He said, give it to whoever would come in second place. He said, I don't have to take that money.
I helped Jerry Langley a lot up there at his Rats ATV thing, and you're talking about some big ones.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. They'll come in there and you ask them, how much you got in it? Oh, 140. You lost your mind.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Well, you can buy one off the showroom floor that'll be a car price.
Yeah.
Oh, they're I've seen them, you know, 80 grand.
Yeah.
Just as they come off the showroom floor.
Yeah, tricked out.
Yeah, they're tricked out, but it's still 80 grand.
And that, if you ever want to watch something, that is something to go watch up there. When they do the bounty holes and the bounty courses, these guys come in from all over the United States running them. It's just like a NASCAR circuit.
It really is, yeah.
It is something to see.
Well, you know, and that's the thing is, one, those guys enjoy it, and two, if you put enough money out there, they'll come from as far away.
Yes.
And that's what we were doing back when we started doing the Kicks 103 Bass Tournament. We were trying to build that up. We wanted to eventually get to where we were giving away like $25,000-$30,000 for first place. You want to talk about people. We would be so blown up with people. There wouldn't be. You couldn't have a hotel room within about 40 miles, 50 miles of here.
Right.
And you know, that was what we were kind of building
Trying to
towards.
accomplish, yeah.
And but you know, it's and the same thing goes on the barbecue circuit. You know, I drove past places that were closer to me to go Tupelo to cook, because in Tupelo that first prize was 10 grand.
Right.
But you know, right over here at the one where you can hear the mosquitoes coming at night. Over here in the Delta. Dermont, yeah. Over here at Dermont, you know, it's $1,000 if you win. I just kept driving. Went to Tupelo instead. You know, so you know they'll come from as far away as humanly possible if the money's right, and that's one of those things that I think uniquely for Union County sets us apart, is that we do have that opportunity for that kind of recreational tourism, especially in the ATV world and the off-road world. It is fun to see all those people come in.
We just remind me after this, we'll send Mr. Langley a bill for advertising for
You know what? I think he pays us enough. I think
he is advertising.
I think we're pretty good. I think we're pretty good as far as that goes. You know, Michael, I know that you probably get asked, do you know, and I'm not going to ask you to name whom, but do you know what your administration is going to look like should you win?
I think I've got a good idea, yes. I've been thinking about that since I announced. Well, actually, I thought about it before then, but I've got some good men in mind that I think would be a great asset to that department.
I think that, first of all, you're right. You got some good people out there.
Yes.
You really do. I think the thing that people overlook a lot is the interaction they have with the sheriff's department may only be patrol. And it may be minimal that they have that interaction, not understanding. For example, you have a whole CID unit, criminal
Correct.
investigation
Right.
division, and I'll say this about because I do have a little bit of inside knowledge, having been in law enforcement, and then I've been pretty impressed with the CID unit at the sheriff's department.
Well, I appreciate that.
As far as y'all's ability to follow things. And the other thing is your CID unit is only as good as how much people can keep their mouth shut. That's the biggest part. From my years in law enforcement, that's what I noticed more than anything. We had one officer that we would tell her something totally opposite of what we were going to do, and it wasn't that she was going out there trying to warn criminals. She couldn't help herself. She would be so excited to be part of it. Oh, we're going to go kick in some doors.
She was
this
a
evening.
Barney person.
We're going to go kick in some doors over at such and such neighborhood this evening, and well, they'd all flee that neighborhood that night. Well, they'd go to the neighborhood we were going to kick in the doors on.
Exactly.
So. But I've been very impressed with the sheriff's office locally and how y'all can, again, people keep their mouths shut, let the investigation do what it's going to do,
Exactly.
and let it lead you to the, let the evidence lead you, and not, well, we know so and so did it. Let's just make the evidence match that up.
Exactly. You see that a lot out there. You can't do that. There's no way. That's not a good investigator if it does that.
No.
You just got to follow where it sends you, and if you do your job, you'll come out at the right end of it.
Well, because I can tell you this, you may get away with that once, twice, maybe even 3 times. But sooner or later, you're going to get a defense attorney who's going to
Exactly
read
right.
that report, and he's going to look at that thing over. He's like, "Oh, hold on a minute," and then, unfortunately, you've seen it. I know I've seen it before. When an officer or a deputy loses credibility in court, whether it was that, even if they didn't intentionally go in there and purge themselves, but if they get in there and they're half cocked and they're not studied up on their case, and they're made to look like an idiot on the stand, you almost always lose that officer or that deputy.
Yep.
Because of the shame of they've lost their credibility in court.
As far as criminal investigations on it, I was taught by some great guys, and they taught me, if you're going to solve a crime, solve it, not to arrest him, to convict him.
Mm-hmm.
If you solve one arrest, we can get that done.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh,
have
yeah.
blank and you convict him.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't convict him, don't arrest him. And I've done that my whole career, and that's what I've tried to instill everybody I worked with. Yeah, we may know he did it, but prove it to that judge that we know we can convict him. The prosecutor's going to
Convince
work
12
for you.
people.
And prepare your case files.
Yeah.
We've run into this. I've seen this since I've come back to the Sheriff's Department. Agents are not turning in the case files correctly, and they're getting thrown out. You put it together right, you don't have that problem. Every case I've worked is identical to the first one I ever started in my career, because I was taught right. And I've had several of them come to show me what you do. I go, get one of the case files, start looking through it. You've got to do that. The younger generation is all about computers. I'm all about paper. And I'm going to have to change my ways. I know I am. But I don't want that paper file.
Well,
that
whether
prosecutor
it's
would.
paper or on the computer, the main thing is, I have always been of the belief, I had a captain. If there was ever going to be a person that sent me to hell, it was going to be him, because I couldn't stand him and he couldn't stand me. It was mutual. But I had a captain who used to just chew me out. I would do a DWI arrest, and I'd have a 3-page report to send the prosecutor. And he'd say, they don't want to read a 3-page report. My God, it's just a DWI arrest. And I was like, you write yours the way you write yours.
Exactly.
I'll write mine the way I write mine. Because here's the thing. You get that thing in court, and you've had 4 or 5 continuances, and now it's a year and a half later when you're having to testify.
Right.
How much do you remember? And or how easily you mix that up with another case. And one of the things I always did is I studied our video.
Exactly.
And there was one time we were in court. Case had been continued 4 or 5 times, and before court that day, I went into the prosecutor's office. I said, "Hey, let's watch that video again." And we're watching it, and I was by myself, and I went out there and got the prosecutor. I said, "Come here," and I run it back. I said, "Watch this." And he's like, "What's the problem?" I said, "If I'm the defense attorney, I'm going to ask about that." And he's like, "Uh-huh." I said, "If you can plead this out, you need to plead it out."
Exactly.
I said, because that's not going to look good. And it wasn't that I did anything wrong. I had the person walk in a straight line that you couldn't see on the video, and it was because it was in a parking lot. Well, there's a perfect straight line right there, that they could see easily at night, but you could not see it on video. And all that defense attorney has to say is, what's the straight line you had them walking? Be like, what was that parking lot stripe? What parking lot stripe?
Exactly.
And, I'll be sitting there like, oh. So
I'm a firm believer, since we have the camera system we have now, is watch your camera video before you write your report.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times you'll do that, or they won't do that, then we'll be watching the body camera like, it's not what it said in that report.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go back with and say, rewrite this report, because you need to watch your cameras. Because as you get into a high stress situation, you're not going to remember everything. But you will if you sit down and watch that video afterwards.
It'll come back to that's exactly right. Yeah. And again, most 90+% of the arrests I ever made, and I made a ton of them, were pretty simple. You've been drinking. I know you've been drinking. You didn't pass field sobriety test, which you weren't going to pass anyway. And I'm gonna put you in cuffs. We're going to take you in. Okay. But every so often, and I wasn't supposed to be on duty, but we had a sergeant call in, and so I'm out. And matter of fact, I'm the only person on duty, and it's like 2-something in the morning, and I stopped this car for speeding. I hadn't talked to anybody in a couple hours, so it doesn't bother me to stop and talk to somebody. And I'm standing on the side of the road talking to this guy. He's about this tall, and I see him do this, and I thought, uh-oh. He's looked up and down both sides of this highway, and it's just me and him out here. And I said, hey, man, let me ask you a question, because I had his license in my hand. I said, I'm going to go run your license. Is there anything? You got any warrants? If so, tell me now. Let's figure it out before I go back here, because once I call you in, you're on the record.
Right.
And he's like, no, man, I'm good. I knew that wasn't true. Just the way he was acting. Well, I call him in. He's already had 2 strikes. He's on parole now. And he has a warrant. He has a warrant for failure to pay child support. So when I go back up, it's like, dude, I just told you, if you have warrants, man, I'm on parole. I said, I know. We could have had this conversation long before I ran your name through. I said, I'd have wrote your ticket and sent you on your way, but I can't now. And he's looking up and down. I said, I know what you're thinking. It's just nobody out here but me and you. And I said, you know what? You're a big guy. You're probably quicker. You're definitely going to be stronger. I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to shoot you. I'm not going to fight you. But I don't want to do any of that, man. Let's, help me help you here.
Right.
And I said, if you will come along with me, I said, I will talk to the prosecutor. I have no say-so over what they do, but I'll talk to them. And so I finally call. I said, because he's just like, he's not saying, okay, I'm going to come with you. And you've been on roadside arrest. You get that feeling from someone whether or not they're going to come with you with or with. They're eventually going to go to jail. It's just whether we're going to do it the easy way or the hard way, And so I said, well, hey, let me do you a favor. Let's save you $45. That's how long ago this was, on a record bill. So I called dispatch, said, tell him to call my partner and have him come get this guy's vehicle and take it back to the PD. And so, sure enough, my partner rolls up in a pair of shorts and a cut-off T-shirt, jumps out. Well, by that point now, he's a little more agreeable. And I said, man, I'm going to save your record bill here. And I said, I'm going to write the report before I take you over to Mansfield. And I'll let you read it. You can see it, Okay. So put him in the car, take him down there, write my report. We take off and get to Mansfield, hand it all in. They fingerprint him, put him in. Monday morning, I'm not supposed to be in court, but I fly over there and I go over and I pull the prosecutor aside and say, hey, look, this guy. And he's like, was he an ass? I said, no, just the opposite. I said, this guy just got off work and was just trying to go home. He's on parole, got a warrant for unpaid child support. And here was when I asked him about that, he was like, man, I was inside. He said, I was inside for 8 years. Yeah, I have some unpaid child support.
You couldn't pay it.
And he said, and they're garnishing nearly everything out. There's a pulpwood mill outside of town, or wood mill, not pulpwood, a wood mill. And he said, they're garnishing nearly everything I make, trying to catch me up. And he said, and that's okay. I'm living with my mama. I don't have to have a lot. He said, I want to get caught up. But yeah, I was inside for 8 years. And he said, so I'm having, it's going to take me some time. And I told the prosecutor, I said, this guy's doing everything he can. And so he was like, does he have a lawyer? I said, mm-mm. So he looks around, he finds one of the lawyers, come here. And he goes and says, I hear him whispering there. So that lawyer then walks over to that guy who's cuffed over there sitting on the bench and talks. And that guy looks up at me and I nod. And so then they come walking over and the four of us stand there and he's like, hey, man, look, we don't want to do you any harm. You know, do you need an excuse to get back to work? He said, no, sir, I'm not due back till tonight. And he said, if I could be out of here by 3:30 today, I can be at work on time. He said, we're going to have you out here in just a matter of minutes. And so they basically just tore the paperwork up, which is what I would have done on the side of the road.
Had to get honest.
Had he just told me. Yeah. But I got it, you know. Think about this. His only interaction with authority for the last 8 years has been a CO inside Angola.
Right. Not good.
Not known for their crystal clean, you know, character and the way they handle things. So I get it. But, yeah, most of my arrests, now, I told you about my partner. I love the guy. I love him to death to this day. I'd take a bullet for him and he would for me. But he could be out on his own, make 10 arrests and have 9 resisting arrests added to it. I could make 50 and never have a resisting arrest added to it.
Well, you learn quickly it's easier to talk than fight.
It is a whole lot easier. I'd much rather talk to you than fight you.
Much rather.
I was very fortunate. I only had to fight 2 the entire time. I only had to fight twice. And both times it was quick. Thankfully.
You know, that goes back to these days, you know, officers now, you give them a gun, a badge, the chest blows up, you got to respect me. That's not how this world works.
No.
You got to earn it.
You still have to earn respect. I don't care if you have a badge or not.
The only way to earn that is show the person you're out with respect. They might be a convicted felon. Just show the man respect, and they'll do the same right back to you every time.
Every time.
Don't be a jerk.
So I was telling Boomer, I said, when my wife first went to work out there, she was pregnant with the princess. That's how long ago that was, because the princess is 10. So she was pregnant with her, and I told her, I said, look, I've never worked in a jail. I said, but from law enforcement perspective, if I can give you any advice, it's this. If you never have to see their charges, don't ever look. If you don't have to know what they're charged with, and just treat them like a human being. I promise you, if you will treat them like a human being, you will get that in return. I said, now, they're still convicts, okay? Some of them are still dangerous. You have to keep your head on a swivel. But if you'll treat them like a human being, that's what you'll get in return.
Exactly right.
And it wasn't long. They had power went out there one night. Well, you know, the generators were supposed to kick on after. Well, they tried to a couple times and they stopped. Then, for whatever reason, every cell door unlocked, every pod door unlocked. And she said, I'm in the middle of the hallway with my med cart. Well, you know, there's no windows. It's black as midnight under a skillet. I mean, it's dark.
Right.
And she said, I knew about how many steps I was away from my medical office. So she said, I back up and I just wedged that cart in the door. And she says, as I'm standing there, she said, I can tell, you know, you can feel the presence of someone. She said, there's 2 people right outside my door. And she said, so I kind of made a little bit of noise and said, one of them said, Nurse Casey, you just stand right there. Nobody's going to come down here. We promise. Why? Because she treated them like human beings.
Exactly right.
Now, I'm not telling you she hadn't, you know, said some things that make a sailor blush, you know, when somebody shows out.
Well, sometimes that's the only thing they understand.
That's the only thing to understand. That's exactly right. And but you have to treat people, you know, and I hate that my TikTok algorithm ever picked it up, but evidently I've watched too many videos of cops who were not doing things the right way.
Me too.
And man, it just seems to fill mine up. Yeah. But there was one recently in Ohio, young guy coming down the road, or Kentucky, I'm sorry, coming down the road, kids backing out of a driveway and backs into him as he's coming by. Happens.
It happens.
That guy, he pulls over, he's like, it's a little scratch, man. I'm not worried about it. Kid's like, I'm not worried about it. So the guy goes home. Well, the boy who backed into him, now the mama's done got on the phone and said, man ran into my son, he run off. Well, when he saw all the cop cars, he drives back down there. And this one cop's like trying to make him understand, you left the scene of an accident. Now you're going to go to jail. And he's like, hey, man.
They had exchanged.
He said, we got out and looked at everything. Right. I'm not, you know, wasn't worried about that. And so this guy, this officer now he's got a hard on for this guy. And he's like, well, I smell alcohol. And he's like, I don't know how. And he said, dude, I just got off work. He said, I hadn't, he said, he had a Monster energy drink in his hand. He said, "This is the only thing I've had." And so he's like, "Well, I want you to do these field sobriety tests." He's like, "I'm not doing any field sobriety tests." He said, "Because I have no reason to." And so he's like, "Well, I'm going to take you to jail for DWI." So finally the guy says, "Okay, I'll do the field sobriety test." Passed
it.
Passed them.
Blew too. Didn't he blow too?
Then he blew 0.00. And he still took him in.
Well, what he did was, he was accusing, he said, "Well, I detect the smell of alcohol."
Right.
And he went,
"Oh, yeah."
He went, "Man, I ain't been drinking." And the
cop
officer
lost it.
took that as an affront. That
If
he
you
said
move aggressive like that towards me again,
he said, "That was you're trying to spit on me." Oh, and it
Drama
took it to
queen.
court. I saw it in the court.
Yeah.
and they embarrassed that guy.
Yeah, that lawyer and that judge just. As a matter of fact, that guy is no longer employed by that department.
Well, he turned his camera off and whispered.
Yeah,
and whispered to his.
He takes his camera off and lays it down, and then puts his hand over the mic to whisper to his sergeant.
Yeah,
No.
he said we
And
discussed.
that's what I said. I was like,
He said we concluded that he was making aggressive movement, furtive movement, aggressive movement.
Yeah.
And they said, well, he was pacing back and forth. Well, all the cameras showed
Every
him-
video shot of him, he's sitting down.
He's sitting on the tailgate or leaned up against the truck with his hands like
And then when he went to cuff him, this is the one that got me, is when he went to cuff him, the guy had tried to call his house to tell him, "Hey, I'm going to jail."
Yeah.
And so while they go to cuff him, he like Siri answer or whatever, and so it answers, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to jail. I'm not even sure why yet," because they never told him until they got him in the car. That was for DWI, and he's like, "I don't know why." And all of a sudden, this cop just shoves this guy into this truck. Quit trying to pull away from me. This dude didn't do anything. He's standing there. Literally, he offered his hands, and it's just like, oh, dude. Those are the kind of guys that I would love to have been his sergeant, because I would have wore him out.
I see the other side too of when people acting stupid.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
I love them.
They don't have to tell you. The police do not have to tell you why they pulled you over.
Not before you show your license.
Let me see your license and your registration.
Well, why'd you pull me over? No.
I'll tell you that as soon as you show me your license.
Although my normal shtick was I would pull someone over and I'd say, "Good afternoon, sir. I'm Sergeant Sanford with Logansport Police Department. Hey, I clocked you doing 45 and a 25. Do you have your license and your insurance with you?" That's what I always, Or better yet, it was like, "Good evening," or good evening, sir. I've been behind you for the last mile, and you've crossed that center line like 6 times. I've got it on video. And you been drinking tonight? No, I had 2. That was always a magic number. I don't know why 2. Were they this big each? I mean,
too many.
Yeah.
Well, like on Happy Days, he said, Ron Howard says, "Well, I've only had some beer in some little bitty cups." And his daddy said, "How many?" He goes, 52.
Yeah. So
I got stopped. A state trooper. I'm going to Felsenthal, duck season, and I got stopped right in front of UPS, right there. And I'm looking at the 50-mile-an-hour speed limit sign, and he comes up and he says, "Well, I got you going 65." I said, "Well, it says 50 right there." He says, "Yeah, but you're not there yet." So he goes back, writes me a ticket, comes back, and he thought I was going to argue with it some more. I said, "No, sir." I said, "You're right." I said, "Whatever." I said, "You know the law. I don't know the law." I said, "I was just in a hurry to get to the duck camp."
Yeah, I told him. I said, "Boomer, you didn't think about the fact that you're riding around with loaded weapons. I mean, you're riding around with guns,
Well,
and you're going to argue.
loaded.
Okay, but you're still riding around with guns. You're going to argue with the state trooper? That may not be the brightest move."
Yeah, he came back. He was ready to have an argument with me. I said, "Oh no, sir.
No,
sir,
you don't have to
right."
do that.
And I was wrong.
But again, I do go back to your trooper, the trooper here that we had the chase locally, out there on Junction City Highway. That is a lesson in superb training for driving and pit maneuvers.
Right.
And because here's what I noticed. First of all, 141 miles an hour. You're doing good if your tires can stay in contact with the highway, and they don't fly apart.
Yeah.
And they don't. I mean, because they're not. I don't care if it's a state trooper's car or not. They're not designed for the centrifugal force of 141 miles an hour. And the fact that he was able to keep it in 4 lanes. Now it took all 4 of them on a couple of them turns.
Exactly.
But then he rolls up on the guy, and he's got him now. They're passing Iron Mountain Road, and he's got him. I mean, I'm thinking, dude, you're done. I'm watching the video, and then I see tail lights, and I was like, I bet he don't pit, and he didn't, because he saw those tail lights too. If he had pitted that guy right there was a higher than average chance he would have spun out and hit that car. So that's superb training and following your training, and then. As soon as that car was passed, though, he pitted him at 117.
Right.
Wow. When
was that a state trooper?
Yes,
a state trooper.
That was a scary deal, because when that car first took off, and he fell out of that car, man, his head couldn't have been that far from that rear wheel.
It could have been ended a lot worse.
That could have been very bad.
And we've alluded to it about bad cops, So I know internal investigations, and there's always room. Especially in a large county like ours, there's room for wrongdoing. So how does that, as you as the sheriff, and you've been had the all the years of experience, how do we combat that?
Training. Yeah. And supervision. You've got to hold each other accountable.
Big one.
Supervision.
Your whole department's got to hold each other accountable.
Yes, sir.
Just like I'm a lieutenant CID, I should be held accountable for everybody under me. That's every patrolman, everything. Because if I see you doing wrong, I'm supposed to point you out. So hold up a minute.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to have to come down to. Is the accountability to training.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I want to do for next year if I win this thing.
Yeah.
The Concord's not going to like me, but we've been asked about a training budget going up because we don't have enough.
You have to.
Yeah.
You can either raise the training budget or you can raise the lawsuit budget. It's up to you.
For lack of training.
For lack of training.
That's right.
And we've all seen the videos and the shows and all that, and we don't want it to happen in our community.
No, we do not.
Now the crooks want it to happen.
Oh, yeah,
they
no
want to
doubt.
be able to buy you off or sell their drugs, and you look the other way.
Right.
And so
now you're talking about the pit maneuvers. We've got a lieutenant at our sheriff's department that teaches that. He goes to the state police headquarters, headquarters 3 times a year to help teach it.
Arkansas is kind of famous for pit maneuvers.
Yeah, Arkansas and Georgia.
They're actually, their school they have now, Georgia and other states are sending their people to them. That's how.
To Arkansas.
And you got one chance to fail. Well, then bye.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah, Arkansas adopted the FAFO policy when it comes to running from the police.
But he's been on me pretty hard about we need that. I don't think very many in our patrolman knows that, how to do it.
And let me tell you,
we're not going to do it.
There's no faster way to kill yourself and someone else than to improperly pit.
Exactly right.
I have never attempted to pit because I didn't feel like I knew enough.
I don't. And I'll tell you right now, I do not know enough. And
now, funny, one night, my wife and I just got home. We just got home from church. I think it was a Wednesday night, and I'm taking my shoes off, and I hear something on the roof, and I'm like, "What is that?" And I keep hearing it, and so I get up and walk out the door, and I see a bunch of people take off running out of my yard. So I come and I throw my shoes back on, and wife said, "I'm going to come with you." I said, "Well, you better hurry." And so we jumped in the car. Well, they take off, and man, they're sliding around corners and all this stuff, and I'm like,
yeah.
And finally I told her, I said, call Scotty Points and give him that license plate right there. And because Scotty lived at that time just a couple of houses over from us. And I said, give him that license plate right there. And so when they got caught, because they got caught, one of them said, man, I don't know how you stayed on. We were driving our hearts out. I said, dude, you have no idea. I was a patrol sergeant. I have more training than you have experience driving.
Exactly right.
On a pursuit. I can chase you all day and never spin a tire. So that's why when I saw that trooper video, I was like, man, that's good training. Not only is it good training, but it's a good example of following his training. That he followed his training to the T. I heard, I don't know if it was true, but I heard that he did send someone out there to find his hat.
I heard that too.
That his hat, because his hat fell off during the whole thing, and they can't end a shift out of uniform. And if he didn't have his hat, he would have been considered out of uniform. So I understand a sheriff's deputy went out there and found it. But if you haven't seen that video, by the way, we have it at southarkansasnow.com. You have to go back and look for it, but it is there. It's impressive.
I've seen it.
It's an impressive traffic stop, and I think even more impressive than that though is they crashed out, and the driver takes off, and 3 hours later, he's arrested. He ain't made it 2 miles in 3 hours. I'm like, dude,
where were you?
He either didn't know where he was going or he went somewhere else and turned around and came back. I don't know. He didn't make it very far. I can tell you this, if Sandy ever has to outrun the police,
we're in trouble.
And I do somehow get away with nobody seeing me, y'all be looking for me for a long time. I'll be like Phil Robertson. I'll be down there at Cajun opening the crabapple back club or something. What was Phil? Phil was missing in the woods for like 6.5 months or something, you know. When the cops were looking for him, he went off in the woods and hid for 6 months.
Yeah, you saw the movie too.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
No, I'm talking
oh,
about
yeah. But well, I'm excited for your campaign. I mean, like I said, we've developed a friendship over the last year, and I really have enjoyed talking to you about the things that are going on. And I'll tell you this, Boomer, they say behind every good man is a great woman. You better believe it.
You better believe it.
She keeps him in line.
Good.
And so I was talking to him one day. I said, "Hey, man, on such and such day," he said, don't talk. He said,
You gotta ask
he said, "Don't talk to me about that." And he said, "I don't know where I'm supposed to be 10 minutes from now."
Close the calendar.
Exactly right.
And it's funny because he'll be in the middle of a conversation and you'll see her walk up and she'll just like that, and away they go. And I'm like, I text him,
campaign director.
I text him, I said, "Hey, brother, where'd you go?" He said, "Oh man, we have a fish fry or something. You know, we're going to this or that." And
she is my calendar. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't know where to go every day. And I think she took this more herself. Like, I don't know how to say that.
Well,
take it on. I'm going to do this.
The wife of a good politician does, and because no one who knows you better.
You're right.
Other than Jesus, who knows you better than her?
You're right. 100% correct.
And she's the one that told you to put a tie and a jacket on too, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Of course, what was funny about that, they took the picture of my car and everything. They said, "Well, cross your arms." She said, "No,
that
he's not an arm crosser." Never thought about it.
Yeah. You know, that's it. It's well, if you ask Ricky Roberts today, he'll tell you that his wife got him elected. He went out and he wore out some shoe leather and beat some skin off of his knuckles.
Right.
But it was what was happening at home that kept him going, because he said there were times he was like, "What am I doing? Why am I even out here?"
If you don't have the support of home, you shouldn't be doing this. I'm telling you, because
anything.
That's even if you're picking up cans.
But somebody asked me, "What are you going to do if your wife leaves?" I said, "I'm going to pack my clothes, go with her."
Yeah, that's what I told
Where
my
are you
wife.
going?
When Martha and I got married, I said, "Listen, baby," I said, "this is it for me, my second marriage." I said, "and as far as I'm concerned, divorce is not in the pages or in the makings." I said, "But if you decide to leave, just know I'm going with you."
Exactly right.
That's what I told mine. I said, "Look," I said, "you're my last marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, you're only my second one, but you are definitely the last one." And I don't know if that's a compliment to her or not, but you're the last one. So I said, "So if you decide to leave me, that's fine." I said, "Just leave a forward and address so they'll know where to send all of our mail, because I ain't staying here if you ain't here."
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Man, I'm encouraged by what you've said today and your philosophy, and there's been times when we've looked back and it didn't always look good. I've heard things about different people, and I don't want to hear that anymore.
No, me neither.
And not in our community, and not here. Somewhere else, but not here.
I want to surround myself also with people that don't come with a complaint, come with a solution.
There you go.
Amen.
Yeah.
Because I'm just one man, but if another man's got a better idea than I do, let's try it.
Yeah.
Just because I'm going to be the sheriff, don't mean I run everything.
Yeah.
You got the people under you that probably pretty smart. Listen to some of them.
Yeah.
If you sit down with them, what you think of this?
Well, smart people always do that, Michael.
Yeah.
They surround themselves with people they listen to.
Right.
And you'll have to make the final decision. But if you're listening to people,
and be willing to say, I should have done that.
Yeah. There you go.
It was kind of an ongoing joke when I was running the radio stations. I would tell them, I'd say, "Hey, you see all this?
I run this."
But here's what I was really trying to get through to them is, we can have all the discussions we want, but at the end of the day, it's my butt on the line.
Exactly right.
Now, I may take what you say and still not do it, but there's a reason. It's not pride. It's not just because, well, by God, I'm going to do it my way. At the end of the day, it's me. And just like at the end of the day, at the end of 4 years, your name's going to be on the ballot again.
Exactly right.
Exactly
right.
And so people will let you know if they think you did. That's the one thing is, a lot of times you don't know if you did a good job or not until 4 years later.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I used to work with. We had a boss one time. He never wanted to listen to you. He said, "Well, I learned." just mention a good idea to him, just leave. About
Yeah.
a week later, he gonna come back with the idea, but it was his idea.
Yeah, let him think it was his. Yeah.
We got what we
That's
needed.
what Boomer used to do to me all the time. Man, you know
I'm
what'd
not
be
gonna name
cool?
him because me and him still do good. We're good friends. And I'm not gonna say, but I laughed. And everybody said, "How'd you get into it?" I said, "I just told him about it. He come up with his idea."
That's right. That's exactly right. We're going to take a break. And, man, you're welcome to stick around with us. We still got a little bit more to do here on the podcast, but you're more than welcome to stick around. And we'll be back with more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
32 years ago, a young Robert Rushing began his life of public service joining the El Dorado Fire Department. While saving lives during the day, Robert Rushing put himself through college and law school at night, eventually opening a law practice in 2010 to protect and serve the rights of people in South Arkansas. By the way, he was still working as a fireman at the time. And after 23 years of service, Robert Rushing answered the call again and was elected as city attorney. Today, Robert Rushing still has that desire to serve. Re-elect Robert Rushing as El Dorado city attorney.
Rated the #1 course in Arkansas by Golf Week, Mystic Creek is truly a hidden gem, complemented by a modern clubhouse, complete with panoramic views. It also features a fully stocked pro shop and Mystic Grill, serving contemporary American cuisine and Southern classics. Mystic Creek promises an unforgettable experience.
Serving South Arkansas for 25 years, and all the while expanding and growing throughout the state, ProMed Ambulance is proving their motto of world-class care and hometown values. For example, their new mobile integrated healthcare communication center. This state-of-the-art facility allows communication specialists to work directly with local 911 call centers to ensure the closest medical team is always dispatched to any emergency. World-class care and hometown values. For more information and career opportunities, go to ProMedAmbulance.com.
Experience, courage, common sense. All of these are traits we want in any elected position, but especially in the man we will pick as our next sheriff. Michael Fife hasn't just been in law enforcement for 30 plus years. He's the one who answers the call in the middle of the night, putting himself last and Union County first, looking folks in the eye, doing what's right, standing up for all of us. Vote for Michael Fife for Union County Sheriff.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer and sometimes JW and Jax.
And Jax.
And Jax. Sometimes JW and Jax. Hey, man, and what a great visit we got to have with Michael Fife.
I think if he wins, I think he'll make a great sheriff. And it's not a shoe-in, but
well, you got two great guys running.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be good either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it like I said, it's not a shoe-in, but Union County is predominantly Republican, and he would seem to have the leg up.
Yeah.
At this point. But well, Boomer, we have some letters.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Wait till next week.
Yeah. I love Greta. Dear Sandy and Boomer, I recall when y'all were on the radio, Sandy complained about his name. I can't remember what he said his real name was and why he chose Sandy. Even way back then, I thought about talking to him about this. When I was born, my mom thought it would be sweet to name me after my grandfather. On paper, that sounds nice, but my whole life, I found it embarrassing to tell anyone my name is Orville. Now, my name isn't really Orville, but it's something unique and very similar. When I do tell people that, all I hear is seriously, like Redenbacher, again, not Orville, and how old are you? I'm now planning to start the paperwork to have my name changed legally, but my mom is devastated about it. She says a name shouldn't matter that much. But to that I say, if that's the case, then it wouldn't be a big deal to her for me to change it. Am I wrong? Would you ever consider legally changing your name as an adult? Signed, What's in a Name?
If it'll make you feel better about yourself, and if it's become incumbent, or invasive to your life.
So what I said about my name, my legal name is Breland Allen Sanford III. So obviously I was named after my grandfather and my dad. The only thing I ever complained about was why my family picked the nickname Sandy.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. I'm the third. The natural nickname would have been Trey.
Yeah.
I don't understand why I got picked as Sandy.
Is anyone else Sandy in your?
Well, my grandfather, so when he first got out of World War II, he was a student at the University of Houston. He was working for Pollock Paper Company, and that was his nickname, as they would call him, Sandy. And then my mom, who's a huge baseball fan, she loves Sandy Koufax. And so that's where, and so anytime I've complained about it, my mom says, hey, your name could have been Amos Moses. Your dad wanted to name you Amos Moses.
Did he really?
And that's what she says.
Daddy.
He wanted to name me Amos Moses. I said, well, I went by Mo.
Yeah.
I can't figure, anything else. But,
or A.
Here's the thing for Orville or whatever your name is. Number one, parents have very few things that they can do for you that will last you your lifetime. Mm-hmm. And your name is one of them.
Yeah. It makes a difference.
All I'm thinking is did your mama ever come in there and towel your head off when you were running a fever and, clean up after you when you puked everywhere and you were pooping your pants because you were sick and then if you have kids, this. How many times do you think your mom or your dad gave up what they had planned because you had to be here at a certain time and picked up at a certain time? Suck it up, buddy. Suck it up. And you know what? If people are making fun of your name, that's on them, not on you.
Yeah.
I know you said your name isn't really Orville, but if they like Orville like Redenbacher, I'd say no, like my grandfather.
Yeah.
I mean, that's simple.
Yeah.
That's simple.
So you think just go with it?
I think you should just go with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could rearrange your name. So you could move it to your middle name or just start going by your middle name.
Yeah.
Jax is not Jax's first name.
No.
So, I mean, go by your middle name if that's what you want to do. But I don't think changing your name, we talked about it last week. We get nostalgic as we get older. It's a great way to honor the memory of your mom's dad. And I say stick with it.
There was a time in my life when I went by Mike. I don't know if I've ever told you this. And it's been a tradition in my family that a lot of us have the middle name Michael. And so I knew that my brother-in-law, who was 8 years older than me, was my sister's boyfriend at the time. His name was James Michael, and he went by Mike. And he was talking about how there was confusion all the way through school because they call you by your first name in school. So he said it was confusing to people. So the first day, and I think I've told you this, the first day of school, I'd been Mike my whole life. The first day of school, Mom was dropping me off. And I turned around and went back to the car. I said, Mama, can I get him to call me Troy? She goes, yeah, if you want to. If you want to go by Troy, that's up to you. So I did. When I was 6, I changed my name from Mike to Troy, so it would not be any confusion. And I think I'd rather be a Troy than a Mike. Although Mike's a great name, but I've because there's been no confusion. I've been confused a lot, but not other people.
Yeah. How about this one, Boomer? Dear Sandy and Boomer, I have been happily married to my wife for 8 years. We have a great relationship. We rarely fight and honestly enjoy each other's company. But every single year without fail, we have the same argument. I send my ex-wife a Mother's Day card. My ex-wife is the mother of my children. We were married for 15 years. We raised 2 great kids together. And while the marriage didn't work out, we've stayed respectful co-parents. There's absolutely nothing romantic there. I don't secretly miss her or linger in the Hallmark aisle wistfully thinking about sunsets. I literally mail a simple, hope you had a good Mother's Day card. Thanks for being a good mom to our kids. I sign it, send it, move on with my life. But my current wife says it's inappropriate and claims I'm honoring another woman on a day that should be about her. Last year, she got so mad she accused me of spraying the card with cologne. For the record, I did not. I've tried skipping the card before, and then my kids acted weird because they had always known for me to acknowledge their mom on Mother's Day. They're adults now, but they notice stuff like that. I told my wife I was going to write to y'all, and she said, good. They're both divorced. I bet they don't send cards to their ex-wives. My wife says a text would be enough. I say a card is simply respectful and sets a good example for the kids, even if they're grown. Plus, after all these years, changing it suddenly feels petty. So tell me, am I being thoughtful or am I accidentally running a one-man nostalgia tour every year? Signed, called between Hallmark and Holy Matrimony.
Well, in my experience, what I did when the children were young, just like you would do if you were married, you would take your kids and say, let's get your mother a Mother's Day card. And so the first year we were divorced and it was Mother's Day, I had them. They were with me on that weekend. You know, guys are stupid. I didn't think anything about it. I didn't get a card from the kids to her. Kids are real little, and so they didn't know any different either. So the next year I did. You know, I got cards and had all the girls sign it to send it to their mother, and I did that until they were of the age when they could have done that themselves. You know, and so, you know, if the kids are grown and you know, it's not how you meant it; it's how it's perceived. And if your present wife perceives it as an affront, and I'd say you need to,
you know,
86.
one of the things that I picked up in here, I mean, you have an otherwise great relationship.
Yeah.
Y'all don't fight. Y'all get along well. You have a lot in common. You've been married 8 years. But there's this one thing. Now, personally, I do send my ex-wife a text every Mother's Day. I do. And I don't make a thing about it. I just always send her a text. And guess what? Every Father's Day, she sends me one. And I send her a text on her birthday. And every year on my birthday, she sends me one. And it's that simple. We determined very early on when we decided we were going to get divorced that we were going to get along and we were going to be at the very least cordial, if not respectful. And so I do send my ex a text every Mother's Day. I do.
How does Casey feel about it?
Well, I don't know. I was just going to say, we've never discussed it. I know, though, that, for example, on her ex-husband's birthday, she has sent him text telling him happy birthday before. I don't care. It's his birthday. And I can't erase the fact that the two of them had a child together. I can't erase the fact that at one point they were in love enough to get married. And it didn't work for whatever myriad of reasons. It didn't work. But, okay, that's not a threat to me.
Okay.
At all. And so, you know, maybe I'm foolish. That maybe it should be, but it's not. And so your wife is correct. I do not send my ex a card. I do simply send her a text.
Yeah.
And so I do tend to agree with your wife that way. If this is her only issue with you, bite the bullet, man.
Yeah.
Just suck it up. I mean, I think if you still feel the need to, send her a text.
Yeah,
you know?
just send her a text.
And you don't have to get gushy, but, you know, tell her, hey, you know, there's lots of kids out there without a great mom, and our kids were
Thanks
fortunate
for
enough to have you as their mom, and you've done a great job, and look at how they've become and who they are, and it'll make her feel good, and you will have done that. And I think in the world we live today, I think your kids certainly understand sending a text. When's the last time your kids sent you a card?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
now I do get those for my kids.
I do too, but not in the mail. They bring them to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know.
Well, I got kids that live other places.
Yeah. Well, I do too now.
Yep.
So, anyway, that's my 2 cents for what it's worth. Dear Sandy and Boomer, when Sandy says he looked into something or researched something, what he means to say is he saw one person comment on it on Facebook, Norman in El Dorado.
Not true.
Not true, Norman.
Not true.
Not true. But that was a good line, though. Dear Sandy and Boomer, I can't believe I actually caught myself listening like I was going to learn something. When y'all were talking about fashion, I began to pay attention, and then I realized these two guys own jackets that came for free with the purchase of deer corn.
They give jackets with deer corn?
I was going to say, I missed out on that free jacket with the deer corn.
I know they used to put washcloths in flour.
and laundry detergent.
In laundry detergent.
Yeah, that came from Tanner and Magnolia. Well, Tanner, don't ever listen to me about fashion.
Or anything else.
Yeah, or most anything else. Yeah. But now, this guy, he knows a little something. He's taught me some stuff over the years. Cordovan.
Cordovan.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Dear Sandy and Boomer, I can't stand y'all, especially Sandy.
Ooh.
We know you have a daughter who's in law school. We know you have a son who's a school teacher. We know Jax is handsome. We know that your other crotch fruit are the smartest kids in the world, and the rest of us suck as parents compared to you. Get over yourself.
It's effing?
It says, "Get over your effing self, dude." Signed, Randy in El Dorado. Well, Randy, how about that?
Wow.
Seriously, man.
Seriously. Well, it's just a matter of being proud.
Well,
of your
I mean,
children.
look, if I have to recount it all for you, I will, but I wasn't allowed to get an education after school. So yes, I am very proud that I have a child who now has a law degree. I'm very proud that I have a child who will have a master's degree this year. I'm very proud that all three of my children who are eligible to have bachelor's degrees all have bachelor's degrees. I'm very proud of that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think so either.
And
And
there's nothing to get over.
I'm not saying that's any indictment on anyone else.
Yeah.
I'm saying that despite having me as a parent,
If that was tongue in cheek, then well.
yeah, it wasn't very funny if it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Get over your effing self. And
Yeah.
you spelled it out.
Wow.
So Randy, up yours. Dear Sandy and Boomer, I swear, listening to the two of you, I keep expecting one of you to start a sentence with, "I'm not a racist, but."
He hadn't listened enough.
That's from Selena in Ruston. I'm not racist, but.
Well,
Wow.
the whole thing, I hate everybody. She hadn't heard that.
Yeah, evidently not. Yeah. I can put that back in.
Yeah.
Dear Sandy and Boomer, I love your show. I'm glad to have y'all back. I just hate that it wasn't until episode 45 that I found y'all, Jen in El Dorado.
Well, go, Jen.
Yeah.
You can look at the back.
That's what I was going to say. They're all there on our YouTube channel. You can find them all. Dear Sandy and Boomer, I would love to be on one of those road trips with y'all, even if crazy does happen. When you tell the story about Reuben the waiter, I can actually see the whole conversation in my brain.
You can.
Then when you talk about the racist guy in Pine Bluff, I swear I picture it.
Yeah.
Let me tag along. I'll pay for my own meals and my own hotel rooms. David from Emerson. Well, David,
we don't go places.
You're
much
taking your life into your own hands is all I can tell you. But
we're going to have to take a road trip this summer.
We are.
Do something.
Well, we're supposed to go to Mardi Gras in New Orleans next year.
Yeah.
I guess JW is going to want to go to that too.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that we're going to go to Mardi Gras. We will have plenty of stories. We will have plenty of stories after that. Dear Sandy and Boomer, I love that y'all are always doing lists, like the one you did with the best cartoons, the best music. Well, as a black man, I have to tell you, I was wondering, what are your top 5 scariest movies of all time? Here are mine. Number 5, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, pretty good. Yep.
Number 4, It.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Number 3, Get Out.
Hadn't seen that one.
He says here, remember, I told you I'm a black man and my wife is white.
Yeah.
So Get Out is the one where the
Devil say hello,
young white
brother
girl
say
takes her black boyfriend to meet her family, and it's all Stepford wife kind of. They're all acting real nice to him, and then at night,
Get out.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Number 2, The Ring, and he says that whole 7 days thing got to me. So, funny story. I have a niece, Shelby, and one time we watched The Ring, and I don't know why in the world Sandy agreed to watch, because I don't like scary movies. And anyway, it was that whole, the phone would ring, they'd answer it, and it'd be like 7 days, and then the person would die in 7 days. So I walked outside at James and Sheila's, and I pulled my cell phone out, and I dialed the number, and Shelby answered, and I said, 7 days.
Oh no!
And she freaked. I mean, she 100% freaked out over. Yeah. And number 1 on his list, and this is DeAndre from El Dorado.
Yeah.
DeAndre said number 1 on his list was The Exorcist, and he said,
Yeah.
I might be married to a white woman, but I'm still a brother, and we don't play with no devils.
No, that's it. And I guess The Exorcist would still be mine. And
that is the scariest movie I've ever seen.
And you and I have always said we don't mess with devils. We don't watch movies about. And I've watched the Amityville Horror. And when the
Salem's Lot.
Yes, Salem's Lot. When the little pig with the red eyes at the window with that little girl, she said, "Oh, I've been talking to my little friend," and it's because devils live up in pigs.
Yeah, they like pigs.
That's biblical.
That's in the Bible. It's right there in the book of Hezekiah.
I think still.
I can't disagree with his list.
Yeah, I can't disagree with the list either. What was the one? There's been some modern ones that aren't devilish, but when the lady was in that water tank for so long, the guy had her.
Yes, I know the one you're talking about. I can't remember the name of that one. But I watched that one not that long ago.
And that's scary.
That was
to
a
me.
scary one.
That was a scary
That's
movie.
a thriller.
A thriller.
You know,
But she was,
I don't do slasher films.
Yeah, if slasher doesn't.
You know, I was in high school when I watched Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
and I had to pretend to be cool for my date. You know,
it just makes you jump. It doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't really.
You know, that whole time, my date's saying, "Are you okay?" I'm like, yeah, I think I got a headache. That's all. Just
Yeah,
headache.
right.
No, they were covering my eyes. So I wouldn't. You know what's funny? My wife, Casey, she doesn't jump at a lot. Of course, when you're tough as she is, you don't have to. But what she will do is, if we're watching something that's even a thriller, she'll cover her ears. And I said, "You realize you can still see, right?" She said, "It's the music." She said, "It's the suspenseful music that gets her." And so
The movie with the little boy said, "I see dead people."
Yeah, Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense. I watched that again not too long ago. You know, because I forget things.
Yeah.
So that's pretty. That's pretty. If you go back and watch it and know that he's dead the whole movie.
Yeah.
Then
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So they had seen Sixth Sense by now.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So I thought we would follow that up with the top 5 funniest movies of all time.
Okay.
And this was, where was this? USA Today. USA Today's top 5 funniest movies of all time. Number 5, The Waterboy.
You can do it.
That's high quality H2O.
H2O.
Yep. Number 4, The Hangover.
Marie Valaco, she showed me.
Vicky Valancourt.
Vicky
She showed me her
Valancourt.
boobies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go play that foosball.
Number 4, The Hangover.
The Hangover.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was funny.
That was. Vulgar, but hilarious. Number 3, Liar, Liar.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
I'm kicking my own ass.
Yeah. My favorite, because Micah was little. She was about 6 or 7 when we watched it. And he's standing there in court and has his hands on the jury box. He's like, that was hilarious. Number 2, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, the Christmas
Now,
one
the Christmas
with
one was
Cousin
not my
Eddie.
favorite.
Cousin Eddie.
But there were so many quotable lines in there.
Yeah.
You know, that was, I can see why
It's
it would
the
make
gift that keeps on giving.
number 2. And number 1, I wouldn't have had it as my number 1, but now that I see this, it's definitely my number 1.
Home Alone?
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. Yeah.
That's the funniest movie of all time,
in the
according to
end,
USA Today.
When they broke into the one set to another one, and it was the dancing guys, and yeah.
I thought of some others, Boomer, and one of the most hilarious movies I've ever seen is Son-in-Law with Pauly Shore. Girl goes off to college, cuts her hair, comes back home, brings her surfer dude. You know, they pretend like they're boyfriend and girlfriend, but they're not. Mm-hmm. And Son-in-Law is hilarious. You got to watch it. It's very, very good. And Tiffany Amber Thiessen is in there, and she is scantily clad.
Mm-hmm. What's the one where he went and he went back and they says he could milk a cat, and he says,
"Oh, that's Meet the Fockers."
Meet the Fockers. Yeah,
yeah,
that was fun.
Also, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, that was good.
That was hilarious. Another hilarious movie. And there it is, Boomer. It's happening again this week. My eyes.
Your eyes are itching.
Yeah.
And my nose is itching.
Next, Harlem Nights.
That was funny.
That was funny.
That was real funny.
That was a great movie. Again, I wouldn't suggest quoting it to anyone, but it was funny.
It's a lot of when he said he loved that girl so much he changed gods.
Yes, of course.
Went from a Catholic to a Baptist.
You know why they called her Sunshine?
Yes.
Next, Step Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that is a hilarious movie. I'm sorry, y'all.
All right, go ahead. Is it just that one eye?
Yes, right now it is. So,
is it? Do you think it's we touched those jalapenos? And
yeah, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. After Step Brothers, Elf.
Yeah, Elf's funny.
Elf is funny. Coming to America.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you something. That barbershop scene. Mm-hmm. That is one of the
Murphy plays all of them.
Yes, and him and Arsenio. That is one of the most iconic scenes in American theater. As far as I'm concerned. I mean, that ranks right up there in my opinion with "I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse."
Yeah,
that's way up there. You know, it's like if his mother wants to call him Cassius, I'm going to call him Cassius.
Yes, yeah.
Van Wilder. which that is a guilty pleasure of mine. That movie has no redeeming value to it whatsoever, but I laugh uncontrollably every time.
Mama from the Train.
That was another good one.
Yeah.
Yes, Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Home Alone 2. And, of course, the funniest movie of all time, The Exorcist. So, no. I know people who laugh at it.
If you watch it backwards. Yeah.
I know people who laugh at The Exorcist.
It ruined her whole career.
Yes,
I
it
mean,
did.
And that was some horrible scenes.
There was horrible scenes, man. Boomer, and I didn't write down to whom this was according to, but they had the top 500 songs of the 80s. Now, I'm not going to go through all 500 of them.
Oh, my word.
But I went through and I highlighted some because I'm thinking when you hear that song, it's 80s. Period. There's no, when did that, there's no, when did that come out or no. So their number one was Olivia Newton-John and Physical. That's not the number one song of the 80s. Their number two was Betty Davis Eyes, Kim Carnes. Again, a great song, but that does not scream 80s to me. As a matter of fact, that sounds more 70s to me. I know it came out in 81,
it came out in the 80s.
But still. Number three, Lionel Richie and Diana Ross, Endless Love. Nope. That, again, barely in the 80s,
That's
first of
barely
all.
in the 80s, yeah.
Here we go, finally. Number four, Eye of the Tiger by Survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not like this song then. I don't like it now, but it did make number 5, and I have to agree, it is quintessential 80s, and that is Every Breath You Take by the Police.
Yeah.
Yeah. Irene Cara, Flashdance. Queen, Another One Bites the Dust.
Yeah, that's definitely 80s.
Then number 9, Blondie, Call Me. That's again, number 11, Jay Giles Centerfold is there. Number 13, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, I Love Rock and Roll.
That's a classic.
That's quintessential 80s. Going down to number 17, Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Well, you can take a bunch of Thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all those songs.
Number 21, from the year 1981, Foreigner, I've Been Waiting for a Girl Like You.
Yeah.
Number 22 is John Cougar and Hurt So Good. Then there's...
Is a little ditty about Jack and Diane in there, too?
Yeah, I'm sure it is somewhere. I hadn't gone through them all. Madonna's Like a Virgin is 25. Hall & Oates with Man Eater. 27.
Well, they had a bunch of hits in the 80s.
Another Brick in the Wall, Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And then Queen, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. The Bangles, Walk Like an Egyptian, comes in at number 33. Going down, Jack and Diane, there it is, number 41 from John Cougar. Number 42, Van Halen, Jump.
Yeah.
And that's pure 80s. Let's see some other ones. Heart, Alone. That was again, screams 80s. Poison, Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
Yeah.
Now, you can't compare early 80s to late 80s because they did change dramatically.
Poison.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm just saying any music from the 80s because it did change. That decade changed a lot.
Yeah, within it started coming into.
Well, and then they went to the arena rock, those love ballads like Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer. Dire Straits, Money for Nothing. Yeah.
Chicks for Free.
Yeah. Michael Jackson's Beat It, Madonna's Crazy for You, Michael Jackson's Rock With You, which I didn't know was in the 80s. I thought that was 79, but it was 1980.
Is PYT in there?
It probably is top 500. Surely it is, I Want to Know What Love Is with Foreigner. Came in at number 60. Billy Joel's at number 61 with It's Still Rock and Roll to Me. Some great songs there. Again, late 80s, Paula Abdul, Straight Up. And man, that was, every girl I knew in high school, they wanted to learn that dance that she did, that choreographed dance. Tears for Fears, 1985. Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Well, that's when Tears for Fears and those kind of groups started making that different kind of sound of music.
Yeah, they did. U2, With or Without You, 1987. La Bamba came out in 1987 as well. Here's one that screams 80s. From 1984 at number 78, Ray Parker Jr., Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call? I'm just looking. In Excess comes in at number 87 with Need You Tonight. That's one of those that if you're making a movie about the 80s, that needs to be playing in the background at some point during the movie. And that's kind of how I judge whether or not a song screams 80s to me. If I was making a movie, would this song make the movie? You know, Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine comes in at number 94. That's
way down there.
Yeah, I think that song should be higher on the list. Of course, there's some country crossovers there, too. You have Eddie Rabbitt's I Love a Rainy Night. You had a bunch of Kenny Rogers songs in the top 50. And although I hate this song, Culture Club, Karma Chameleon, 1984.
Boy George.
And then want to tell me how Prince makes the list for the first time at number 106 with Kiss? I mean, 1999, Raspberry Beret, When Doves Cry, Purple Rain.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
none of those made it before that.
Yeah, there's just, and then number 109, Bobby Brown, and My Prerogative, you know. So, and again, I'm not going to go through all 500 of them, but some great songs in there.
Yeah, that's a good list.
And I like that too. I thought that was pretty neat that they were able to come out with that list. And again, that's according to USA Today. Incidentally, just to tell you what is number 500. And this song screams 80s. Irene Cara, Fame. I'm gonna live forever. I imagine that.
That was in part of a show.
Yeah.
Fame was a show on TV.
And number 497, Kenny Rogers and Sheena Easton, We've Got Tonight. That, again, I'm not a Kenny Rogers fan, but that was a great song. Wow. I'm just looking back through some of these. Oh, How Funky Cole Medina going to come in at 489. And I bet Orange Juice Jones ain't on here.
Orange Juice Jones did make the 500.
Man.
Yeah.
How can you even have a list without Orange Juice Jones?
Hey, baby, how you doing? You miss me today? I miss you too. I miss you so much I followed you.
That's right. It's a stalker song if I ever heard it.
Now sit down because you cold busted.
Yeah. Without me, like a squirrel without a nut. Like cornflakes without the milk. Boomer and I laughed about that. I didn't know anyone else even knew that song. And one day we're riding along and something comes up about it. And I'm like, no, you don't know Orange Juice Jones. He's like, I sure do.
Heck, I know.
And so I was somewhere, and this was years later. I'm somewhere and I hear that song. I pull my phone out and I just video and I hold it up, and then I send him the video and say, listen to what's playing. And he was like, without me, you like cornflakes without the milk.
You squirrel looking for a nut.
So, Orange Juice Jones.
Oren, not orange. Oren. O-R-E-N-O-R-A-N.
O-R-A-N, yeah, Juice Jones.
That's the only one I ever heard.
Yeah, I think it was a one-hit wonder. If that was even a hit. I don't even know.
I bought you Gucci handbags. I bought you black diamonds. I bought you things you can't even pronounce. Yeah. He goes, no. Don't we go looking in the bedroom because everything I ever bought you is in the closet in the entry.
Yeah. I saw you and him walking in the rain.
And all it had was a bass line. Boom, 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 boom.
Well,
boom,
that's all Afro
boom,
Man
boom,
had with
boom.
Because I Got High.
Yeah, Because I Got High.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we used to play that. So when I was on Q100 down in Texas, and we did the Q Morning Zoo, we would play that every Friday. We'd play Because I Got High, and then we would always follow it up with Toby Keith's "I'm Never Smoking Weed with Willie Again."
With Willie again. Oh, Toby.
Which, hey, I've been on Willie's bus. Let me just tell you. That is not for the faint of heart.
Don't go play.
Hey, when Snoop Dogg says, "Man, I can't hang
with Willie.
I can't hang with Willie." You know.
Yeah, you know Willie be toking them up.
Yeah. Willie once ran back into a burning house to get his weed stash. He told that story barefooted.
Must have been a bunch.
Yeah. Or he couldn't get any more. I don't know. So,
one of the two.
But he ran into his burning house barefooted to get his weed stash. So, well, Boomer, it's been a great week.
It has been.
Yeah. You be careful on your trip.
Going to see my sisters in Houston and Dallas for the weekend, and Lauren's coming with me, one of the twins.
Nice.
So get to see my sisters. You know, I'm the littlest in the family, and I'm 70. So they're getting on up there. So
one of these days that's going to be Nolan. My youngest, he's going to be like,
I got to go see my sisters.
I'm the youngest in the family.
I got to go see all my sisters.
Got to go see all my sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, it was good to have all, it's because there's 6 of them and they all have their own lives. It's rare that we get to get them all together.
Sure. Yeah.
But to have them all together, and you know what I love, and you know this, my first marriage, I hit the lottery on in-laws.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely, and so Sheila, who's my mother-in-law from my first marriage, and I don't dare ever say now my former mother-in-law or my ex-mother-in-law, because she let me know that is not how this goes. But got to see Sheila over the weekend, and Clint's wife Amanda, and so got to see a lot of my ex-wife's family, and my ex-wife was there, and but we had a good time, and we all went out to eat. There's a young lady that graduated also with Micah, and her family came as well. And Grant and Lauren, I met his wife Lauren for the first time, and I told her, I said, well, we've been betting all this time that you were AI. We didn't, because we never
really
met you.
it
was always like, oh no, Lauren couldn't make it at the last second, and so, but I actually met her, so she is real. And
well, as time marches on, like I said, baby, the family's 70, and I have a cherished picture of the last time all of our family got together, the sisters, the brothers, and the husbands and the wives.
Yeah.
And we had a picture now. Both my brothers have passed.
Yeah.
And both my brother-in-laws have passed now too.
Wow.
And so those 4 guys were my heroes in life.
Yeah.
Because they
were older boys, older brothers and brother-in-laws.
They were all just older brothers or uncles, and so that's just been a hard thing for me, that because both my brother-in-laws were just as close to me as my brothers.
Yeah.
So,
and again, that's going to be Nolan. I can just tell you. I mean, first of all, he worships the ground Micah walks on.
Yeah.
He absolutely. There is you could show him video evidence of Micah being bad, and he'd be like, mm-mm.
Well, my oldest brother was he was a senior in high school when I was born.
Yeah.
So my earliest remembrance of him was gone. He would come back from college, and then he would come back from work, and so I never really lived in the house with him.
Micah graduated college when the princess was born.
Yeah.
We have a picture of Micah's graduation from Louisiana Tech, and she's holding the princess, and the princess was about 6 weeks old. And it was, and then of course it was another 4 or 5 years before His Royal Highness come along. But boy, does he ever think the world revolves around Micah.
Sure.
And of course he feels the same way about Jackson. Cam, he's all the time. What's so funny is Cam will tell you he doesn't like little kids. It's one reason he wants to teach high school, because he don't like little kids. Well, for someone who doesn't like little kids, he and Nolan are tight.
They're tight.
And they are tight. I'll look over there and he'll just be sitting. Nolan will be sitting up on Cam's shoulders. Cam will be on the couch. Nolan will just crawl up on top of him and sit on him. And Cam's just like doing what he's doing.
Wants to be the closest to him as he can.
He wants to, man. Yeah. And the princess. It's so funny because I told you we were looking through some old photos and videos last night looking for something. There's a video of her the day that Nolan was born, and she's holding him so tight, and she is mesmerized by this little boy, and she gets her face down close to his, and she's giving him sugars and all that, and she was 5 years old, and she's still that way. He gets on her last nerve, don't get me wrong. And I tell her all the time, I said, Aubrey, stop arguing with him. There's nothing to be gained by arguing with a 6-year-old, okay? Nothing at all. But boy, you talk about protective now. I'll hear her sometimes, he'll be doing something he's not supposed to do, and I'll hear her say, now, baby, don't do that. You're going to get in trouble. He'd be like, I don't care. And she said, you're going to care if Daddy finds out. And I can hear all this, right? I'm like, what's going on? Nothing, Daddy.
I got it.
She is all the time. She mama hens him. And I love that, by the way.
Yeah,
because, I've told you, obviously I won't be here for as much of their life.
Sure.
Even if I'm here for 50 more years, the other got 20 years on them.
Exactly.
And she is all about protecting that little brother.
Yeah.
You better believe it. Now, what's so funny is a while back, it's been a couple years ago, I said something about, who did this? And they're all just looking at me, and I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to start whipping kids until I find out. And she's, it was me, Daddy. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? And she said, it really wasn't me, but I'm not going to let you whip him.
That's great. Isn't that great?
She protects that little brother, man. I mean,
that's what little sisters do.
That's what they do. That's what big sisters do. That's right.
Hey, let me ask you. You got a new building?
Yes.
Or is it going to be ready next week?
Hope so.
Hope so next Wednesday.
We were having some issues with getting internet into the building.
Okay.
But I think I have that solved.
Okay.
We'll find out Tuesday.
What about Starlink? Could you do Starlink in there?
We could. It's not the most efficient.
Starlink isn't?
Not for there.
Not for right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's some tree cover.
Okay.
Number one. And number two.
Don't you point Starlink north?
South.
South?
Anytime in the northern hemisphere, you always point satellite south.
Okay.
Because the thing is they go around the equator. Yeah. But the other thing is, you would think as much as I pay for that other Starlink that maybe I get a discount on a second one.
I got one that you can get a discount on.
Oh yeah.
I got one sitting at the house on the floor. I get you a good discount on it.
Yeah, but it's that monthly fee. I'm not worried about what the equipment costs.
You can get it for $50-something a month. Not if you're
not business.
Yet.
Not business. You can't. So, no, my Starlink. Now I have the roaming Starlink, which means we can use it anywhere, right?
Yeah, that costs more for sure.
Yeah, but it's like $170-something a month. You know, and you'd think Elon would show a brother a little compassion. Heartless Republicans. JW, thank you for your hard work this week. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, our viewers, and our sponsors both. And again, want to just remind you, if cooking is as important to you as it is to people like Boomer and to me, and you need pure beef tallow, this is the beef tallow to get. Again, it's 100% grass-fed beef, no hormones, no additives, no antibiotics, 100% natural beef tallow. You will enjoy it, and you can get it locally at our friends at Timberlane Meat Market. So stop in there and check that out. And they've got a whole new line of stuff in there. I was actually blown away. I walked through there today. I was like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Yeah. So they've got some really cool, neat stuff in there.
Good.
Duck fat, if you need duck fat, they've got it.
They got that too.
And you can buy, you can buy it in a quart jar like that, or you can buy it in a tub. I mean, So all of that is at Timberlane Meat Market.
Cool.
So be sure and check that out. And we'll be welcoming a new sponsor this week as well, and that is our friends at Cross Roofing.
Oh, good.
Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal. So, there's a reason that if you called them right now and said, hey, I need a roof, that you're going to be on a waiting list, because people know they can trust Cross Roofing.
Yeah.
And, we've known them for lots and lots of years, and Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal. So we're excited to have them on board. They've been a sponsor, but they've been a smaller sponsor of our website. Well, now they've stepped up to our largest sponsorship package, and which isn't that expensive, by the way. So if you're interested, contact Jax or contact me, and we'll be happy to talk to you about it. And then again, coming up June 4th, we're excited about these. June 4th, you won't be able to see it, I know, but it is it's our Calling the Hog, Stories from the Booth with Chuck Barrett and Rex Nelson. And tickets went on sale last week. I know for a fact, as a matter of fact, that we had some VIP corporate tables. Those are all gone. Those were gone like that. And then I think we've sold, 200-something tickets.
It's going to be at MAD.
It's going to be at First Financial Music Hall on June 4th, Thursday, June the 4th. It's a catered meal. And tickets are $50. Now, there's sales tax and a small fee. It's like $57 and some change once you add those things. But tickets are $50 each. Again, catered meal. Tell me where you can go and eat. And this is going to be like really good food, not just throwing weenies out there on a roller, right? It's going to be some really good. I think it's going to be. We're going to have maybe a chicken Alfredo and a roasted pork loin, or smoked pork loin. Full salad bar, tons of desserts, tons of sides, bread, tea, water. I don't know if they're going to have the bar open that night or not, but I'll talk to them about that. But it's going to be a great event. It's going to be a first-class event. I'm really looking forward to it. And just, anytime you can get Chuck Barrett down here, and
that'll be
and that's going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, Rex Nelson. I mean, what else can be said, So that's going to be a lot of fun. If you need tickets to that, you can get those at eldomad.com. That's ELDOMAD.com. And my phone is blown up the last couple of days. People are like, hey, I'm hearing your voice over on KCHE. And I was like, yeah, we bought some ads over there. And I think I told you I was over there the other day, and they were like, so do you know Will Vance? I was like, have no idea. No idea who that is. Nah, Will's my buddy. Anyway, hope y'all have a great week. God bless. Have a good weekend. This is Off the Back Porch.
With a history of being the voices you trust, this is Off the Back Porch.